You should be unmuted. All right. I'm going to call Willington Board of Education meeting to order. It is Tuesday, December 9th, 2025. It is 7:01 p.m. If you will all stand for the pledge of allegiance. You guys get to start.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right, next we have the Board of Ed reps report, and I have, let's see who's first. This is Center School. You are up first. Get you on the screen here. There you go.
Fourth graders had the opportunity to apply to be a member of this year's safety patrol. So many students applied that we decided to split up into groups of 2 and rotate each month. Safety patrol members helped create a safe school environment by identifying safety hazards like spills on the floor or running in the halls and helping other students.
Very official.
On Wednesday, December 3rd, the Royal Tea, also known as Mr. Torrey, announced the students who exemplified November trait of grateful. Royal bees are different than from super bees because they are chosen for showing a specific character trait. Because students who were recognized wore the purple royal bee sash all day. December's trait is generous. Preschoolers made pumpkin patches with scarecrows and gratitude jars before Thanksgiving.
Kindergartners read the book Turkey Trouble, where a turkey tries to hide from the farmer to avoid becoming Thanksgiving dinner. Students, they designed their own turkey disguises, including a gumball machine, a baseball player, a snowman, a garbage can, a strawberry, and other animals.
First graders learned about astronomy and their CPLI knowledge. They made constellations like Iron, Urus Major, and Urus Minor with gold stars stickers, moon with aluminum foil.
Second graders learned about Rachel and CKLA and their CKLA knowledge books. They wrote their names in Greek letters after learning the Greek alphabet. They also made gratitude jars to show what they are thankful for before Thanksgiving. Third graders wrote essays about what they are most thankful for. They wrote first drafts, edited them, they wrote their final draft. Fourth graders studied the Middle Ages and CPLA on Wednesday, November 9th. Volunteers from the Barony Beyond the Mountain, East Kingdom, to present immersive demonstrations on what life was like during the Middle Ages. Students spent the day participating in activities such as blacksmithing, fencing, and weapons throwing. They also make and keep a ring made out of wire from blacksmith, full actual chainmail, and a format or neck protector for fencing. And practice knife throwing with plastic Velcro knives. Thank you to all the volunteers who provide this event entirely free of Mr. Phillips is back. We set up a mini climbing unit in the gym. In art, we are learning how to work with clay. We create our designs, paint and glaze them, and Miss Warren then molds them into the kiln to fire. Miss Redding set up the
Scholastic. It's a tough one.
Scholastic Book Fair was set up in the library November 19th to the 26th. Students learned the vocabulary words for the parts of the body.
On Monday, November 24th and Tuesday, November 25th, CSL Fall Parent Teacher Conference. 194 of our 214 families, 91% signed up for the conference.
Thank you. You're leading the way all the way through. You need to skip through there, you go. There you go. Who's up first? I don't have yours anymore, so now you guys can.
We have been busy since we were here last. Winter sports have started and our basketball teams are hard at work getting ready for games this summer. Practices have been going well and we have our first scrimmage versus Stafford tomorrow. We welcomed our parents and guardians for conferences a couple weeks ago and invited them to the Shop the Book Fair while at school. Our PTA is graciously hosting the Penguin Patch Holiday Shop this week. We collected almost 1,500 items. Sixth grade won the movie day with 567 items.
Special guest, Ebenezer Scrooge. Tell us who it is.
Yes, I mean,
Yes, oh, you know what, let me share this screen. Yep, she got muted. There you go, Yasmin, sorry.
Oh, it's fine. Hey. On Friday, December 5th, sixth graders who won the food drive enjoyed a movie day. They watched Ratatouille, had some popcorn, and met a special guest, Ebenezer Scrooge. Ebenezer Scrooge, aka Mr. Hamilton, social studies teacher, made a special appearance at sixth grade's movie day reward. Mr. Scrooge reported being a changed man as the result of generosity of especially the sixth grade students and the few pesky ghosts who visited during the night. Newly appreciative of the spirit of giving, Mr. Scrooge applauded the donations as he introduced the movie Ratatouille.
He scared me when he walked around the hallway. I did not know who it was.
We had our first success assembly of the year in November. The theme was 6-7. I wish I could explain to you what 6-7 means, but none of us are really sure.
I knew
We
it.
just keep going along with it because it's fun and seems to drive the adults a little crazy.
Yeah, you can't really see the picture, but a lot of the adults are wearing 6-7 shirts that they had made.
We recognized honor roll students, students earning all A's and B's, and high honor students, which are students earning all A's. Each teacher selected one sorting student to acknowledge, either for their achievement in their class for quarter one, or for bringing something unique or noteworthy to their class environment.
We had our Spirit Week a few weeks ago. Our Spirit Days included Crazy Hair Day, Formal Day, Staff Student Swap Day, Celebrity Day, and Color Wars Day. Students and staff alike joined in on the fun. My personal favorite happened to be a Celebrity Day.
She never gave me a paper for that.
I have the, oh, you don't have the, can you do the news since you have it, unless you want me to pass it down, Aubrey? Sure do. Oh, okay, he's passing. There you go.
HMS Morning News is back. We have ordered some new and improved equipment for our TV studio, and our students are excited to start learning how to anchor, record, edit, and put each day's program together. Let's take a look.
We're gonna see if the volume goes. Yep, that's what I was afraid of. My IT friends, when I'm sharing, oh, I'm gonna unshare. How about that? Stop sharing. Share again. Share sound. He said go from
into the republic under God and justice for all.
Today's weather is partly cloudy and windy, with temperatures continuing to fall. We've got a high of only 37 degrees and a frigid low of 8. That's right, not 18, 8. Now that's winter.
At least today's lunch is warm. It's beef and cheese nachos with homemade taco seasoning, steamed corn, green beans, and juice. I'm feeling more tropical already.
Time for the joke of the day. What's the difference between an African elephant and an Indian elephant? Oh, about 5,000 miles.
Now it's my pleasure to announce the first students to be nominated for the Hall Memorial Hall of Fame class of 2025. These folks have been called out by their peers or teachers for performing a kind act, and we'd like to thank them for their commitment to making Hall a great place to learn and grow.
Stop it there so they don't ruin the surprise. They come here, right?
Yeah. Our Principal's Advisory Board created this idea of Hall of Fame. This is a system whereby students can shout out each other for engaging in kind acts that make HMS a great place to be. Students are informed of what they've done to be nominated, but the person who recognizes them remains anonymous.
This year we are holding school performances of our winter concerts to give our musicians the chance to rehearse in front of a big, authentic audience before the big night.
We held our winter choir concert last night. Our chamber singers, 5th and 6th grade concert choir, and 7th and 8th grade concert choir all performed. Enjoy this sample of our 7th and 8th grade concert choir.
Put that big X. We're gonna find out if it actually did this. Yeah, that's what I thought. We'll have to do that another night.
Just hum a little.
There you go. Actually,
It was great.
how many of you were in the performance last night? A lot of you were, I think. All right, so news from 8th grade. Who's got that?
Pies and cookie dough from our fundraiser were delivered. We raised $2,292, which is almost the full cost of our trip to High Meadows. We still have another fundraiser in the spring. Hot off the presses, 8th grade has voted on the theme of the end of the year dance, Night in New York. Our fundraiser for our Washington, D.C. trip is well underway, and so far, students have raised $3,500.
We have lots of exciting things to look forward to, like caroling at the tree lighting on Friday night, our PJ Day fundraiser for CCMC also on Friday night, and our band concert next week. We will update you on all of these next month.
Nice job. So we will have to make sure we do a video of band and the chorus concert next time. How's that sound? All right? Yeah. You guys don't have to stay. You can go now. Thank you so much. We appreciate you coming and sharing all your updates with us.
Thank you guys so much.
Good luck with basketball, folks, tomorrow.
Y'all stay out of trouble.
We'll try.
There was one.
Just like that.
That is
Those here. Okay, you have election of officers next. I am going to put this on the screen. I don't remember if I shared this with you because we've been going pretty quickly in my office. General overview. So board members should not offer up more than one candidate for position until other members have had a chance to nominate a candidate of their choosing. Candidates from the floor may nominate themselves. A nominee may decline a nomination from the floor, and nominations require a majority vote to pass. So your process basically is you're gonna ask, I'll ask for nominations from the floor. And if the person accepts a nomination, you'll discuss the nominations. If there are any more nominations, I'm supposed to say that 3 times, that's what's in the note. You vote, you do the nominations are closed, and then you vote. And then the meeting is turned over. Basically, your policy has you electing a chair, a vice chair, and a secretary for 2 years. Questions about process for each other? Nominations are open.
I would like to nominate Brianna Ross for chair. We need a second.
Nope. You just need to accept the nomination, Brianna, or
Accepted.
any other nominations?
I nominate Arthur Christensen for chair.
Arthur, you accept?
Yes.
Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Okay, so here's your chance for discussion.
Oh, should I say 3 times?
Yeah.
Does he know something I don't know?
It's just for.
Yeah.
Any discussions? It's up to you if you want to have discussion or.
Do you each want to tell us a little something of why you want to be chair? Don't have to, just a thought.
Sure. Hi. This will be my second term on the Board of Education. I have been the chair of this board for the last 2 years. It has been an honor and pleasure to serve our town in that way, and I'm glad to be re-elected to the BOE. I've really enjoyed working with everyone at this table, as well as the people who sit on that side of the table. We have a lot of exciting things coming up, and I'd really like to participate in that. I feel like I do a good job making everyone feel welcome and comfortable. I feel like I do a good job making the playing field seem fair for everyone, regardless of their background or opinion. And that is something I would like to continue to do for this group.
Arthur Christensen, this is oddly my 3rd year on the board, how that works.
Yeah.
I am actually now the chair of the policy subcommittee on Region 19. I serve on 2 different boards of education, this one and the one at the high school as well. I appreciate the work that Brianna has done, but I feel I could do just as good of a job. I think that if you know anything about me, you know I'm all for just everybody being open and being honest and being real. And I think that's an important piece to have on this board. And that would be something that I bring. I know the rules and regulations of the board and the roles and everything like the back of my hand. I took this very seriously. I still do, and I always will. But that's it.
So here's my question for you. My interpretation and your interpretation. Election of officers shall be in writing, and the vote of each member shall be made available for public inspection within 48 hours and recorded in the minutes of the meeting. What does that mean to you?
Sounds like paper ballot.
I was gonna say it.
I felt like it sounded like paper ballot, even though in writing We just have to produce the results to the town clerks faster than we typically would for minutes. I will do this however you would like. If you want to do it in writing, I'll gladly get you.
Last year, we just did roll call, right?
Last time we did vote out loud, so it's up to you. I didn't want to stray from this.
Is that policy though?
It's in policy, and it probably could be, this line probably could be clarified. I don't know if the intent is about the minutes, because that's typically what you call in writing. But the way it's written, it sounds like in writing means you're voting on a piece of paper. So however you would like to do that.
I mean, I think roll call is public.
It's gonna go public anyways. Your vote is not gonna be private.
And that will be in the minutes.
It'll be in the minutes either way. So it's not like your vote, whatever you write down, is not gonna go public. So you're okay with a voice?
I am, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, as long as the final results are in writing, somehow explaining how this went down, I think.
Yep,
And
sure.
they'll have to go to the town clerk before the video is posted.
They'll go
perhaps.
tomorrow morning.
Okay, yeah.
They'll go tomorrow morning, yeah.
Whose responsibility is that?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I let them know. And these minutes are probably gonna be the fastest minutes you have, because we'll turn them around. Okay. Do you have, I'm just gonna go with Brianna, because she was done first. Are you okay with that?
Do you wanna do it that way, or you just wanna do name with name?
I would just do
I'm-
name with name.
Perfect.
Okay.
Tracy,
Brianna. Brianna.
Abstain.
Brianna.
Yeah.
Arthur.
so majority is Brianna, so that would be the chair.
Both, thank you.
I don't find this a form, so.
Okay.
This fall. Okay, so Brianna, you can choose if you want me to finish all of this piece, or if you want to take over at this point.
Yeah.
When I say all this piece,
Chair's
it's just
getting
like,
cold over
What's that?
here. The chair's getting
Chair.
cold.
You gotta sign all your papers over there.
Oh, that's why we have different seats, okay.
Yeah.
she went presumptuous.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
appropriate. So I will finish all the officers, and then you can take over. How does that sound?
Sure.
Is that okay?
I can
okay.
do it, but yeah.
Oh, then
Nope.
it's all you. Listen, that's me, because I got a lot of talking tonight, so.
Okay, great. Here we go. Come on, people. All right, so we are ready to offer up some nominations for the role of vice chair. Nominations are now open.
I nominate Arthur Christensen for vice chair.
I nominate.
He needs to accept.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I didn't see it. Yeah, you're good. Thank you, sorry.
I nominate Jennifer McCool for vice chair. I accept.
I see that. A delay.
Okay. Next, we discuss it.
Okay.
I know, but that's before that.
It's weird that it's every time. I don't know.
Let's just do it 3 times. Are there any more nominations for vice chair of Willington Board of Education? Any more nominations? This doesn't feel any different than the last time around. Any others? So what is it? 3 seconds. Okay, now can we do some,
Can I nominate myself?
you absolutely can.
I'll nominate myself.
Great. Do you accept your own nomination? Oh, okay.
I didn't know if I could do 2 people, so that's why I didn't.
Yeah.
You can
I
once,
do have to wait.
once everyone's had an opportunity.
Okay, terrific. Our nominations are then closed and we discuss. So,
Yes.
okay. We have Arthur and Jen and Samantha. We'll put you all on the spot.
I just want to say, I think having somebody from the opposite party as co-chair would be a nice balance. So that we have a Democrat running one and a Republican running the other, and be a balance. But that's just my opinion. I was thinking about it on the way over.
Did any of our nominees wanna share any thoughts about this position?
Speeches.
I'll just, since John said, I was piggyback off what John said. If we look at what this is, it's largely a symbolic gesture. Because the vice chair really doesn't have to do very much unless the chair is absent, you're absent once in 2 years, so, you know, it doesn't happen very often. It's one of those things where it's almost a showing of willingness to work together, reaching across the aisle. We actually saw Board of Finance do that, with Steph Summers taking chair and Walt getting vice chair. I think that was a step in the right direction. And I think this board could actually learn from that, so.
I'll just say, I wanted to nominate myself. I mean, I was secretary last time, but again, I didn't really do that much except when we were in executive session a few times. But I don't know, I really enjoy being on this board, and it would be interesting to have a little more responsibility if and when I need to. So that's why I asked. I mean, I don't know as much about it as Arthur does, so he's an excellent candidate, but I feel like I'm very good at speaking to people and listening to people, and I wouldn't mind trying it out. So that was why I'm like, oh, let's throw my name in the ringer. Yeah.
There's so many good candidates. It's been, I wanna say pretty uneventful. And, I feel like the upcoming couple of years will be super eventful, and we'll need, lots of support and presence. So that's an important thing to consider.
Did anybody else wanna comment? Let's need more time to think. Then, I guess we're gonna close our discussion and vote. We'll just go around like we did last time. You start with the other one? Yeah, I can. That's me. I feel like we're the
Arthur Christensen.
I will also vote for Arthur.
I vote for myself.
We're gonna come back to me. Arthur, you ready?
Yeah, I'm gonna break form and vote for myself.
Okay. And I'm gonna vote for Jen. Tracy. I'll vote for Jen. Okay, I'll vote for Arthur.
For three, yeah.
Yeah. And zero. Thank you for being willing to put your name in there. Yeah. Congratulations. Congratulations, Arthur. Let's now do nominations for the secretary of our group.
I'm gonna nominate Spencer.
I'll accept again. Come on, who else?
Silence is deafening.
Uncontended.
Are there any further nominations? Remember, you can nominate yourself. Any more nominations? Okay, any last nominations? Okay, nominations are closed. We are ready to vote. Tracy? Great answer. Anne?
Sam.
Arthur? Samantha? Jen?
Sam.
Samantha?
Me.
Good job. John? All right. Welcome to the executive board. Thank you. You know, let's just, there are some additional roles within those titles, but I always still think of us as complete equals at this table. And I think that, as Jen said, there's some really big things coming down the pike, and it's gonna take all 7 of us to really collaborate and work together, and pitch in probably a little bit more time, probably a little bit more effort, and a whole lot more discussion and talking about big things. So I hope that everybody's committed to that. I think we are really gonna spend a lot of time together. I'll still bring snacks. But it's gonna take, we got this. Like, I'm glad it's the 7 of us still. I think that we're gonna be able to really make some awesome headway for our students and our staff in our district, so thank you. Okay. We are ready for our PTA report. Speaking of collaborating with other groups in town. Hi, hello.
Hello. Good evening, Carrie Rainville, PTA president, here to give a few PTA updates. First, as always, I would like to begin with thanking and congratulating our student representatives for their amazing updates. They always do such a fantastic job keeping us informed, and it's wonderful to hear their perspectives. Recent events. The CES Holiday Shop took place last week. It was absolutely magical. It was a week-long event. Our elementary students spent thoughtful time choosing the perfect gifts for their loved ones, carefully studying each item and budgeting their money to make the most meaningful selections. We love seeing how much independence and confidence this brings to our students. I'm proud to announce that we collaboratively sold over $5,000 worth of gifts at Center last week. We want to express enormous gratitude to the families who donated extra money so students in need could participate. Thanks to those donations, alongside with the PTA's Magic Fund, our community came together to support 10 students in need, giving them the chance to shop for families this holiday season. This is truly what Willington is all about, and we couldn't be prouder of the generosity this town has that we call home. A huge thank you to our incredible volunteers who helped set up, restock, wrap, assist students, and tear down the holiday shop. We could not have done this without them. I'm going to call them out. So Amanda Bradley, Amanda Knight, Arthur Christensen, Desi Liebman, Liz Rivera, Heather Cabucci, Jocelyn Roberts, Kevin Roberts, Julie Cox, Linda Nichols, Lisa Stargarter, Samantha Sperry, Sarah Madrid, and Sharon Punty. Thank you guys. What is that?
That was crazy. I'm like, I was there in the trenches.
Yes.
I've never experienced anything like that in my life.
Exactly. We were so happy to have you guys there and, help with all of the super fun chaos. And of course, a massive shout out to Melissa McKinnon for chairing this event. Her organization and leadership are the reasons why this shop runs so smoothly every year. HMS Holiday Shop is happening all this week as well. Flyers went home in student backpacks, and information was posted on our PTA Facebook page. Please reach out if you have any questions, need help setting up your student's e-wallet or anything like that. Feel free to reach out. Thank you to Christine and Emmy Sandness for participating in decorating in the Willington Parks and Recreation Christmas tree decorating that will be donated to a family in need this holiday season. We love participating in that. That took place yesterday. Upcoming events, Coin Wars kickoff is Monday, January 5th and runs through Friday, January 9th, so start saving those coins. Last year we had a theme of Mario Kart. It was a huge hit, and we are brainstorming some ideas for this year. If anyone has any suggestions or would like to join in decorating our decorating team at Center or Hall this year, we would love your help. We will be totaling all the points daily again this year. The kids loved watching the leaderboard and plotting their sabotage efforts. So we'll definitely keep that fun going and expect some surprises, challenges, and twists along the way. Holiday wet red carpet globe dance party. That's a mouthful. Save the date, Friday, February 20th. All Willington students and families are welcome and encouraged to attend. It will take place at HMS from 6 to 8 p.m. Our dance parties are always such a blast, and this year's theme, like I said, is Hollywood red carpet with glow accents. It's shaping up to be extra fun. Our next PTA meeting will be Tuesday, February 3rd at 6:30 p.m. held at the Willington Public Library in the lower level conference room. We always have food and drinks available, and we love seeing new faces, so feel free to join us. As always, if you have any questions, ideas, or would like to get involved, you can reach out at any time, willingtonpta@gmail.com. Thank you guys so much for your time and your continued support of our students and school. Schools.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
I love hearing all those volunteers. That's terrific. Yes. All right, great. Agenda item 6 is chairperson report. I'm just gonna say, let's try to stay focused on our agenda and call through. Present to speak. Is anyone in the room here to speak? Or if you're online, please raise your hand. Everybody for present to speak, please raise your hand if you'd like to share something. Okay, we'll have another opportunity at the bottom of the agenda. Thank you. Agenda item 8 regards communications. We did receive one from Mrs. Michelle Christensen, which should have been sent around. Agenda item 9 is the superintendent report, kicking it off with enrollment, which we are going to double back to a little bit later in a different kind of way.
Yes, we
So
will.
where are we at for now?
All right, so right now, Center School's at 216 students. That's we're up 1 from last month. And Hall has 164, which is no change. So we have 380 students currently. Staffing wise, not a lot of movement this month. We did have Maria Mahoney, was a staff support specialist. She resigned. She had taken the job, kind of not sure if it was going to be a good fit for her. And she said, this is not the right fit for me. So I appreciated that. So she stepped away, and that position is currently open and posted. Carol McKenzie, who has been in district with us for a long time as our part-time occupational therapist. She has retired officially. She's going to be heading into the White Mountains, good for her. And I hired Katie Griffin as her replacement, so we're excited to have her. And I have a posting currently for 2 temporary custodial positions to cover staff members who will be out on medical leave. They are not connected, totally happened at the same time. Nobody got hurt, there's no issues, it's not connected. It's just that they're happening to be going out at the same time. So there's a posting we're looking for like 6 weeks at a time about, and to see how things go. But so if you know anyone that's looking for to sub, we have both shifts that will be available to let us know. The pedestrian update, this is kind of 2 parts. One, I sent a letter to the state police again, just requesting, after if you saw my Facebook post with the car passing the other car in the crosswalk during the 25-mile-an-hour zone, to put a little pressure on some folks to slow down. A lot of out-of-state plates, and the police responded right away. They did get somebody out. They're trying to kind of rotate in and out and not be consistent, but just to like, hey, keep you on your toes. Their presence makes a huge difference in the world. I will tell you that there's a green Jeep that goes through every day and has for many years that drives 25 miles an hour. And I wave and I want to buy that guy a coffee because he has a load of cars behind him. And one car makes a huge difference. And so I just ask people to slow down in that school zone. It is a pedestrian zone. It is a 25-mile-an-hour zone, and there are speed signs. So please slow down. The second part of this is that DOT was having some, if you remember, and I'll put this on screens to just bring this back to you, but and the timing of you asking about this was impeccable. DOT was having some internal disagreements about our pedestrian project. This has been in the works since 2020. It has been a long time, and Mike D'Amato has really been, from planning and zoning, has been on this, and really pressing for this to happen. They met on October 31st, and DOT is finally, they had two groups that were kind of disagreeing on, the layout, the picture, what it was gonna do, and it was really about snow plowing. Putting islands in, you need a smaller plow. And so they're focused on pedestrian safety and said, we're going to get this. So at this point, we're hoping that they're gonna send their letter of acceptance. We're waiting for that any day at this point. Which case then that will go to CROG for the final drawings. And then they'll go out to bid for it. This doesn't cost the Board of Ed anything. I have just been, this is through a grant, and I've been really working with Mike D'Amato on this. And basically what you're looking at is it's got multiple parts. So this is the sidewalk project that basically goes all the way down to the mills. I believe it removes the sidewalk on one side of the road and fixes the sidewalk on the other side all the way down to the mills. There's pedestrian islands that will be put in, and that's what the picture is here. So it's just a little bit of a protection and meant to slow people down. We already have the crosswalk things in. It pushes the sidewalk towards Hall School further. And that bump out that's in front would actually disappear, and there would be grass there, so the pedestrians are further away from the sidewalk. There would be new crosswalk sprayed in, and safer crosswalks to basically get across for in the summertime to get to the pond when they use this. The other piece is the crazy cutback driveway to get into our parking lot across the street off of Penny Hill and 32. That will disappear. So this basically gets planted with grass, and a new driveway would go in kind of across from the front entrance. So that way people are not trying to cut back and turn in spots. It just is much cleaner. I can't wait for this project to go through, to get to be in. It's been a long time. I appreciate Mike pressing it. I keep asking like every month, any update? He's like, I'm pressing. I think he actually had to ask some folks to say what's going on. It's been a long time because the money's there. We're just waiting on the project. So that is exciting.
Will this enable,
Say that
will this enable kids to walk to school?
we already have some kids that more that walk to school. It helps them with the crosswalks if they're in the village area. Beyond the village up Penny Hill, not so much. Not so much. It's really just in that particular area. What I will say is the crosswalks, the pedestrian buttons, like what we have a pedestrian button right now, those will be in multiple spots as part of this project. It needs it.
So if it goes to bid, will it be put in place, would they start working on it before the end of school or before the beginning of school next year?
I am trying to get them to do this as a summer project. So that way it's not in the way of buses and trucks and closing parking lots and things like that. It is a good summer project. But if they say we're coming tomorrow, we will work it out. So that's the plan.
Yeah, thank you. I wanted an update because it's a different situation, but on my daughter's campus in New York, a student was hit and killed in a similar kind of situation. And everybody, there's crosswalks, like cars just go by and they have to cross the street to get to the other half of campus. And it's a little different than UConn because it's more like this where there aren't as many stoplights. And so it brought the conversation in our household, and it brought the conversation to HMS saying it's an accident waiting to happen. And then I saw your Facebook post and it just reinforced that again, that we needed to put a little pressure if we could to get the state to move along with it.
Keep it going. He's been pressing them. It was really about the two groups, one saying, and which we all understand, right? Plowing the roads is important because it's still public safety. Getting a big plow through there is tighter.
Yeah, I just didn't know if we had to, it sounds like things are gonna move along, because the other thing was if we need to contact our representatives to put a little pressure
Whoever my contact today can put the right pressure on, we're moving in the right direction, so,
Okay, thank you.
yes.
So what was the solution for the plows?
So-
Not having the islands or?
No, they're gonna be there. They're in the plan right now. The islands are an important portion of the project and to slow traffic down that whole stretch. Anywhere there's a crosswalk, they have to, I mean, if you think about some of the plows you see, what's like a plow with an additional plow, they just couldn't put that down 32.
Okay,
So they have some trucks that they
that
can,
would fit.
that will fit down there, yes.
Very good.
The same day I posted that picture, of that car passing in the afternoon, we literally, in the crosswalk, had a staff member from a car going south almost get hit. Just somebody screaming along. I watched it on camera the next day. It's just, people just need to slow down on that zone, so. Good news, we're moving in the right direction. Okay, sorry, I am texting Mike McCoo, just hoping that I'll get some information about the school building committee, if that happens. So town meeting's happening tonight, obviously, and hopefully Selectman McCoo can keep this process going, and get the committee members appointed. They didn't realize tonight was a Board of Ed meeting. It was just an oversight coming in. They had a changeover in the website, so the calendar was not aligned. It was not intentional. I'm just hoping he gets through. He and I have been in quite regular communication about this.
Now what happens if it gets voted down by 8 votes?
He can call another town meeting on a different night and do it again, if you'd like.
Yeah.
I will tell you, on the same piece of the school building committee, you have the, we'll talk about the enrollment study later. Tammy Nuccio sent out an email recently talking about, the percentage and putting us into that, with the funding with pre-K space, into that 93% reimbursement rate. What I did also find out recently, and I literally was on the phone with Rusty Malik today from QA&M, is that with the addition of the enrollment study, and we'll talk about that a little bit later, but I can't emphasize, and this is gonna be like my big mantra now, and what we're gonna have to, I wanna make sure Tammy's on board with this too, but we need to get everybody to understand this, is that the timing of this is millions and millions and millions of dollars is on the line. July 1, if that new legislation, which is already done and in place, Rusty was able to calculate out the square footage difference. So if we're at 77,000 square feet, something like that in your ed spec, and it's like $750 a square foot based upon the pricing right now. If that legislation goes through and you cap out at 500, your 93% reimbursement is useless, because your $9 million project at 93% based upon our current enrollment projections suddenly turns into $18 million more, because they cap it at 500. That is going to be, we'll get a presentation on that publicly. People need to understand that. You're gonna hear me say the school building committee needs to move. Once those members are appointed, you have done all the work. All of the resources are there. The student enrollment studies are there. Your ed specs are there. I'm hoping that we're gonna have the final letter from the foundation soon. But this matters with the formation of the school building committee, because the longer those things take, literally July 1 forward, it's, I'm not exaggerating, it is over $10 million more to do the project, because the amount of money you're eligible for shrinks drastically. $250 a square foot times 77,000. It is that much money. That's what we're looking at right now. And Rusty said he's being conservative, and he reported to me 18. I'm being conservative and pointing and saying 10. This town, to me, $1 million is a lot more money. So I think it's going to be really imperative for this board, once this, if this gets formed, and I hope tonight is the night, that we're the voice to say, what's next, what's next, what's next. Whoever the representative from this board is on that committee is keeping that process going, to be able to get that application in, to get a referendum in. And it's not that we're rushing the project. It's just that it literally could go from 9 million to 27, more than what the last referendum was.
And tonight's town meeting was about approving the formation of the
The
committee.
formation of the school
So
building
the
committee.
appointment will be coming up probably at the next selectmen's
So
meeting.
they have the list of names, they're, you know, to do all the interviews, they're getting their things, they have the applicants in. They just gotta get it going, because then it's just like, here's the information, let's go. That is the intent of it. I just haven't heard yet, so. Want to share that information. The HMS oil tank, it's always a surprise around every corner. We received a surprise visit and notification from Department of Environmental Protection asking about our oil tank at Hall School. And we said, it's been replaced. And they said, no, it hasn't. I said, oh, but it has. With all of our permitting through the town and our grants, they didn't know anything about it. So the good news is they were very happy that it was replaced, because it would have been well out of date. But now we're taking the time to do whatever they need to do, and it's a convoluted process to register our now new 5-year-old oil tank.
Did they not think we had replaced it because we didn't register it?
They came out because they thought it had never been replaced. And it obviously was. So we have all the dates of our tanks, we have all the information. It went from like knock on the door, like you guys are in trouble, to we actually have a new oil tank, to, okay, did you permit it? Did you do all the things? Yes, we did everything through the state as well. You got reimbursement for it. So obviously those departments don't talk at all. We will get it taken care of. It will be, we have to pay for it too. We have to register it annually, we found out. So that will happen. But wanted to let you know that was going on. The student performance reviews.
Can I ask a quick question about that last thing?
Can.
Is there a fine for not having registered?
They did not say that. But I think it's $100 a year per oil tank to register. We
just have to keep registering it every year?
Yeah, I'm just gonna put it in the budget and do it. When I say convoluted registration, it is convoluted. Like, you have to do a paper copy sign off and a sign off electronically. They cancel the electronic one if they don't have the paper one in hand. We've gone back and forth.
Is there an oil tank at Center?
Yes.
Have we been registering that annually?
Nope. We will be. We will be. We learn, and that one's gonna be due in a
Never,
in a
ever?
few.
No, don't know. Okay.
All the permits for local have been done, and all of the stuff for the state, because when you get reimbursed. So the state literally gets all of our documentation, all the plans, we have to show them copies of our permits, so it's interesting, I don't know. So, more to come as I uncover that new file. Okay, the report cards. So you have access to this file. We updated this folder for you, and these are in the folders, are the center school report cards for trimester 1, Hall School quarter 1 report cards, and also in that same folder is the student attendance. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. It just gives you a sense of the NT is not taught, 1 is below grade level, 2 is approaching, 3 is meets, and 4 is above. You're looking at basically these 2 columns right here for the first trimester, what was taught and what was, how many kids got 3s, how many kids got 4s. And down the bottom, you have the grade, what grade it is. So 1st grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade, 4th grade. All of the standard, obviously, whatever the standard is taught in a specific trimester. Sometimes it's 1, sometimes it's 2, sometimes it's all. I will tell you, this is in our long-term plan to overhaul because of the new programs we have. But we have bigger fish to fry right now, and we're still getting information to families. We actually changed, and Alicia found out that we could do this, which was great, and Lisa did it. report cards were sent directly emailed to families.
Yeah, that was great.
Which we've talked about doing and just didn't understand how to do it. And she had done it, I think, in her prior district. So it works great. And the only thing we don't know is we don't know if John opened the email and report card where we could see them on school messenger. That would be nice, but that's okay.
Yeah, have like a write receipt on it or something.
It's at least, I don't quite understand yet because I wasn't involved in this, how they were actually doing it. I just said, you need to make sure that the right report card goes to the right person. Otherwise, you're going to hear me very loud. And it was good. So I'm hoping that more people are seeing that and it's more accessible and it opens more dialogue. So that's good. So questions about, I'm not gonna spend a ton of time on this. The hall school ones are the same. And remember, K to 5 is standards based. When you get to 6th grade, it's where you get the old school A, B, C, D, F. And you can see the number of grades for each, and that's at 6, 7, and 8. It's a snapshot for you, right? That's what this is intended to be. Questions about that?
Can you just, is our Google Drive just a generic link that you can just share out and I can favorite, because I keep losing it, it keeps getting buried.
I think when you log into your email through Gmail, you should be able to hit the square.
The waffle on the top right.
The
you
waffle
go to drive.
thank you, and get to drive
That's
that.
why I don't use Google.
Mine was right on the top, like
Yeah.
5.8.
I got it,
Perfect.
thank you.
What?
Nothing.
Yeah, and we updated, we made a 24-25 folder for you, and just the newest files are there. I'm always glad that if you have questions, email me. If you want to know something, you see something that you have a question about, ask. Again, we review these and we go, okay, why were there 35 4s and 0 of other things? Is every kid really above grade level on that standard? Or we start asking questions about like that.
We spoke a while back about changing 5th grade to A through F. Is it true?
I think we also spoke about going mastery based through 8th. So grading is a major topic that needs to be had here. We want to live our programs long enough to be able to have like good conversations about those grades and our assessments that we have, because the assessments are trickling in aligned to the programs too, which will then impact your report cards. The standards are not necessarily that much different, but there's other ways you can do it now by mastery.
What does he mean by mastery? Like,
And they want to speak about this.
It's a non-teacher over here.
Mastery-based learning is basically, it's the same concept of their standards and you're showing that at some point you mastered this and here's the evidence for it. That's basically what you're doing. I honestly don't see a huge difference between standards-based and mastery-based. But the one thing there's a pros and cons to all of them, right? It's just the idea is by the end, you have something to show that you've mastered your 8th grade standards. So when you go to EL, you're prepared. That's you know.
Okay.
Yeah. Right there. Close this. Okay. Arthur, you wait for this one. You ready? Here's your overall.
Oh, perfect.
Arthur and I were talking about this last time, just looking at a different way to do the student attendance, and we really cleaned this report up and added a few things as well. See if this is a better picture for you. So you can see the number of tardies, you can see the number of early dismissals each month. We put the number of early dismissals before and after 2 p.m. for HMS and after 3 p.m. for CES. And then we did it out of. So there were 57 total tardies, right? Oh, yes, absolutely. Do it so you can see this one. So 80 of the 137 early dismissals in August, September, 81 of them were before 3 p.m., 56 were after 3 p.m. I think it's an easier way to see it and you get a sense now. I just have to manually add them at the end, but who cares? The absences are done the same exact way. So 118 absences, 4 kids were sent home, so they are considered absent because they weren't there half the day. 4 kids were on vacation. This is why we're looking at this, right? 50 of the 235 absences in October were vacation days, okay? And there's other ways we code these unexcused, excused. It makes it gray because a vacation day is technically an excused absence until they get through 9. Once it's at 10, it is unexcused and no longer coded as a vacation day. So we thought that was the best way to do it for now, because it's going to be listed as an absence. If you want to broken out further, we could do that, but that's kind of where we're at. And same concept for hall, right? How many kids are on vacation? How many of the absences are dismissals and tardies? The other piece of the picture.
Sent home ill is low.
What's that?
Sent home ill is low. Look.
It's not bad.
No. It's not
And remember, they have to be there for 3.5 hours. So if they're there for 3.5 hours and then they go home, it's just an early dismissal. If they're not, it goes to an absence. So before you had this CES students with more than 5 absences, and same thing with HMS. That number is creeping up. We actually added this now, CES students with more than 10 absences. And this is where we start to get into that, the concerns about and how it impacts scores, right? So if you're in November, hey, Lisa Cushing, who are those 4 kids? And she could say, without even logging on to Power School, both principals named 9 out of 10 of the kids, they knew who they were. So that's what I want to hear. I want to know that you know who those are, and they're either legitimate, sick, which could happen, right? Or something major is going on and we know about it, or where is this kid? Why are they not in school? And what are we doing about it? And they have those answers as well. So I like this view now. It's just, and I share this with them so they can see it. This was not new information for them, which is great though. They know these things through their attendance tables. Questions? Is that a better layout? Is it?
I think so. I mean, you know, not just me, but I like the fact that you're able to see what's before and what's after. And I also like the cumulative absences at the bottom, because as the year goes on, obviously it's gonna grow, but you don't want it to grow. You don't want 6 kids in hall missing more than 10 days in November. So it paints a very good picture.
Yeah. This is something too that I think the principals can use in their write-ups and say, hey, did you know that, and not trying to put people on the spot, but we have, I mean, when you start looking at, we have 29 kids in center school that have over 5 absences. That's a lot, in my opinion. That's a lot. So.
Because it's really 14, right?
What's that?
Is it really 14?
What do you mean?
Because it would be 9 plus these 5, or just 5?
No, this is, so they have, it's more than 5, so it's these have at least 6 absences. There's 29 different kids that have at least 6 absences since the beginning of the year.
Yeah, but I didn't know, I know you said that up to 9 is they have 9 free ones, so I didn't know if it was 9 plus these 5.
No,
so it was
not
only
yet.
14, you know what I
Not
mean?
yet. And that's the problem with the 9, is the state gives you the 9, but the issue is you're like, hey, we're gonna take a family vacation at the beginning of the year, and next thing you know, the kid is sick 3 times, and so the 4 days that you actually left that you weren't intending to be a big deal, suddenly are, because they're sick, right? Or a funeral, or things come up. It's just a way to track it.
Going back to the vacation days, so does that mean that 50 kids missed 1 day or missed 2 days or?
50 of the 235 absences reported were coded as vacation days.
And that's a single day?
A single day, but I could have been away for 5 days on vacation, and I could be responsible for 5 of the 50 days.
Okay, yeah, that was my question. You know, I'm wondering.
It's still a lot. That's the point. It's still a lot. So if you just think about that, that's 10 kids out for 5 days. That's not what it was, but it's still a lot.
Yeah. I'm wondering too, when we do our calendar around October, Like a full day PD or?
Yeah.
I don't know, just a thought.
Our trying to be proactive, our response is them is that, look at when we plan these half days, we're tying them to a day off already, a vacation day, or we're tying them to,
Time to work with.
yeah, like this is, and I know like, hey, Disney's real cheap in October, or, you know, I'm thinking that I have no idea what Disney's cheap, if it's ever cheap. But you get the point, like, that's what we're trying to set them up for that, so they don't have to do this. Yes, sir.
Not to have too many data points on here, but I remember us talking about how, I mean, tardy to school could even be 1 minute. Is there a way to have any, like, kind of how we did early dismissals before 3 p.m. or whatever, to have like it to be once they get into a first period, instead of like homeroom is first, and then like once it actually gets into a learning time?
I will go back and look.
If anyone else is interested in seeing that, cause.
What we were finding, and I wanna make sure I'm right about this, cause I remember you saying that. I wanna make sure I can actually, they've gotta have the time somewhere. And the time's in the book, but 90 in the computer, they might just be flagging it tardy, I don't know that.
Yeah.
Cause then it's, you know, I can export the data 1,000 different ways, it's in the comment, is where it's gonna be.
For me, that point is, becomes important when I would look at, achievement data and then identify that there was a problem, and then I would refer back, and that's what I would wanna know.
Yeah,
Like we were talking about, like if they have math first period and they're coming in late and now the math grade is bad, so that's just how I would look at it, is start with the academic grade and then point it back down.
Yeah.
I could even do like, you know, more than 30 minutes late. It just code, cause they might go to a UA, you know, someone might say that's where I would send my kid to the dentist, so they're not missing, you know, their content. People think differently.
Yeah.
But if it's on a regular basis, we can see what the times look like and see where, cause I would argue every minute is important, right? From the start of the day, every minute is important. We just, like, it's kind of like there, that after dismissal, I'm giving 3 p.m. and really, we start calling around 3:15, 3:20, right? It's pack-up time for elementary school, the middle school. There's still classes going on in the middle school until that time for 15 minutes. And then it might be a core class, right? But at least they're picking an early dismissal at the end of the day and not having the kid miss 3 hours of instruction, I guess is the point. But let me see how I can break it down.
Sorry, absences is more than 3 hours for the whole day.
3.5.
3.5.
Yep.
Sent home,
Ill is still an absence.
well, what if that's at like 1:30?
Then it's not reported as an absence.
Yeah.
That's an
It's
early
very tricky.
dismissal.
We have a lot to remember here. Okay,
Yeah.
and then is the word vacation bothering anybody else, or is that just a me thing?
I was just gonna ask how many different codes you have for.
I don't think,
That is a code. Vacation is a code.
No, I know.
it's really sick before 9, sick before the state mandated 9, and vacation. Is that what you said? Because there are days that
It's
are
not even sick.
excused.
It's excused. See, if I code it off as excused,
Excused with permission, not really even, excused.
we are trying to track it, and we appreciate when people are honest with us, because someone could just say, my kid's not coming in today. Right? And if it's within the 9, they call us, they notify us, we don't know. You know, when we see the Disney pictures, we know. The vacation is just a way for us to keep an eye on it. And it is, people do say, look, John is gonna be out, we are gonna be in Disney for 4 days, and it's coded that way. It gets very complex, and this is where it's like why I didn't want to do any more columns, because a vacation day technically can be an excused absence. If it's within the first 9, right? What we're trying to reiterate is, again, there's all sorts of research. If you don't know how to read well by the time you're finished 3rd grade, the number of days you miss in school are important and it matters. You're missing instruction. And so that's why we pulled out the vacation piece, and we also want to know how many kids we're sending home if it was often. If I put excused and unexcused in here, it's going to really, there could be overlap.
I'm not asking for another column, it's just the title of that saying vacation. If somebody looks at this, they're like, why are there 50 people taking vacation in October? Or why were there?
That's what we wanted to think, honestly.
No, and that's not accurate, because you could have had a child ill who didn't need to go to the doctor, therefore they didn't get a note, but they were ill enough that they needed to stay at home, and that's in that same category, which is not the same as the whoever family that went on a trip, which, by the way, while that does impact learning, we are supportive of families spending time together.
Agreed.
It's educational experience. Yes, there you go. with the-
Yeah. DCF will say otherwise.
But again,
So I
that's
hear what
not
you're both saying,
really-
but they have 9 days.
Right, I used to.
And that's our job to educate kids, and they're not in school, they're in their seat, that's where we educate kids.
Okay, it's not like anybody else. That's fine.
No, I see what you mean. Would it be feasible to have it just be like excused but not sick kind of thing? Cause that differentiates between a true sickness and just a part of your 9. It's excused, it could be vacation, it could be anything really, but it's just not, are we just trying to break out what's sick?
I just don't like that it says the word vacation and nothing else, and that to me implies like, woohoo, we're on a trip,
Bahamas.
when that's not really.
So,
I don't know.
Why do you think it's not that? Because that's what it is.
Doesn't that also include I kept my child home because she wasn't feeling well and we
That's in
didn't
the
go to the
absences.
doctor?
Nope. No,
There's the 235.
it's not.
So the
So when you're looking at that
vacation
number
is
right there,
all-
50, these 50 things, 50 absences were actually reported as vacation days. Which is why I'm trying to do the total over here. So the absences, the 235, of that 235, we sent 4 kids home. And they didn't make it more than half the day, right? Of that 235, 50 were on vacation. The balance of that, so 235 minus 54 are either don't fall into sent home or vacation. They could be excused or unexcused, they could be ill. I can make an ill column if you want that. But yes, I think you're not thinking that really that those are vacation, and they are.
I have a question.
I
It's not, no, I like my idea better. Let him hear you. Okay.
I just wanna know what specifically, well, maybe not specifically, what we're intending to use this data for, because I feel like as a board, we wanna know how many kids are in school versus versus absences. If we are, if we wanna be responsible for boosting attendance or ensuring that we talk about attendance every meeting, just to put a spotlight on it. I'm not sure differentiating makes a huge difference, like.
differentiating, meaning having those other columns.
Yeah, I mean, unless we plan on having different, like, discussions about. I'm just not sure the purpose of breaking it down so finely.
I mean,
I will teach the purpose, because if you're sick, I want you to stay home, and if you're not sick, your job is to bring your child to school. That's your job. Your kid needs to be in school. That's our number 1 job, and that's the breakout of the column. So if you're, and this is the thing, is I will never advocate for anyone to send their kid to school sick. That's why I say I'd rather add another column that says ill. And ill, honestly, could be excused or unexcused, because if they're beyond the 9 and they're out sick, they need a doctor's note. If they don't have it, it's unexcused. Does that make sense, Jen? That's why I'm trying to break out the vacation.
yeah, but you're trying to say for our purposes.
Yeah, like I get why this data is important. Please don't misunderstand what I'm saying. I understand that this data is important. For our purposes here, we've asked to see the attendance. Our job as Board of Ed is to make sure that the attendance is where it needs to be. If we need to, I don't even know if we could intervene, if we need to intervene or do something differently as a board because attendance is very poor. That takes into account vacation, sick, chronic absences, all of that stuff is important. But it's all, to me, important in a lump. Like attendance, for our purposes, is attendance, kids in the schools in the seats.
Yeah, so maybe we need to, for us, leave it and then see what we actually need from it. Where else is this particular document being shared with your administration, I assume?
Yeah.
And your staff,
I
don't?
mean, I understand there's attendance meetings and attendance like
There's a
team, and
committee.
I
Yeah.
understand all of that stuff is in place. For our more global purposes, I feel like it's a
Interesting.
different conversation.
Can I comment on that real quick? My understanding was, I thought we were looking at this as another metric to use in conjunction with like test scores and stuff. And then like Rihanna said, to reverse engineer, like, okay, we may not need every nitty gritty column, like, okay, they were here, it's tardy, but technically they were 1 minute tardy, or tardy between 1 and 10 minutes, or tardy to homeroom or breakfast time, and then once the actual class period learning starts, okay, this kid's struggling in math, but they can't get here till halfway through math, so that's how it impacts us, because we're looking at the scores, and people in town are questioning us about our curriculum, our scores, all these different things, so we were looking at attendance plays a big role in that, so that's what I thought the understanding of doing this was. I could be wrong.
So how do we connect, like, so help me understand how we connect this to the performance scores?
Because if they're leaving early every day and they're lacking in that particular subject, then we could say, well, it helps us and it helps the parents understand it. They're like, look at, you keep pulling your kid out.
We don't have that information. If, like, say it's my kid.
I can connect it for you. One of the things that I give you is the score with all of the rows in it, you know what I'm talking about, it's like the growth score, it's got all the PE scores, it's got SBAC in it, it's got every row. One of those things is absenteeism. That contributes to your overall score. So you wanna know that you're achieving as many of those points as you can. I'm gonna tell you right now, the norovirus is having a hot time in most public schools right now, right? So I want those staff and kids to stay home and get better. To me, that's not a choice. You keep your kid home from school in those times. You don't have control of that. To me, the control you have as a board, as an administrator, as a staff is to say to people, we want your kid in school. We watch this data. We have attendance meetings to do this. We spend time on it. And when 50 of our 235 absences are people on vacation, to me, where's the value in education? That's why I separate that out. But it shows up in our overall score. It is one line, but it is your accountability index. It's part of it.
I think, I just wanna make sure I'm very, very clear that I'm not being misunderstood. I 100% agree that attendance is important.
Yeah.
I understand that we should talk about it as a board.
Yeah.
I'm just having a hard time spending this amount of time in a board meeting talking about these lines and trying to determine their usefulness and connecting them to the performance scores.
Gotcha.
And I don't know how we do that because we don't have the data that my kid is bad in math, so because he's been late for math 5 times.
Okay.
This really
So-
becomes my accountability. for
Yeah,
you.
like big picture, we're trying to understand test scores because that's something that we know our district needs to improve upon. And attendance is a factor that we've recognized and are trying to better understand. The teachers are gonna look at that. They're gonna look at student A, B, and C. They're gonna see what their academic success is. They're gonna go back here and look at the attendance records and make that correlation and then determine what needs the student has, what they need to do to help sort of catch them up. And they're gonna communicate with the families. We have the attendance committee, I don't know what they're called exactly, but Yeah, so they're also participating and they're having meetings with all those students. That's all at staff level. Administrators are overseeing all of that. They have access to all of the data, so they can look up anytime how everybody's doing and how it's affecting them. They could even look and see, student X is absent every Tuesday. Let's look at the classes they're having on Tuesday. How's that going? That's an administrative type of thing. That's our principals. And then we have, you know, higher level admin who can do all of that, but really their job is to oversee it and to help resolve any problems. So for us, though, we can't do anything maybe about the nitty gritty of matching up the students with their stuff. That's a teacher role somewhere else in their system. Maybe this is what you're trying to get at or say. But it's good, I think, for us to understand it so that, because we're trying to build up everybody, help everyone improve scores. That's something that we have as a goal. So no, we don't need to.
Can I take a crack at this?
Yeah.
So right now, this is good to have, but you can't, it's not useful yet. Where it could become useful is in the December, January, and February months. We notice absences are going up, and then you can run the comparison versus the second trimester scores. You can, there's a reasonable way to draw a bit of a conclusion that if the absences are going up and some of the performance is going down, there's a bit of a correlation there. Could it be exactly why it's going down? No, but it could also be a factor. So right now you have just two pieces of data that are feeding off of each other in a vacuum. You won't know anything more until the next trimester, until those scores come out and these results come out. And then you can go back and do a bit of a comparison to say if the scores really aren't changing, the grades, the report cards aren't really changing, the grades are either holding steady or they're going up, which is good, then there's no problem with the absences just yet. But if the scores start to slip and the absences go up, draw a little bit of a line there to say, okay, well, the absences are going up. And then based on that, if you break out the absences that, I don't want to use the word unnecessary, but you know, vacation is different than an illness. So if we have a lot of vacation days in December, January, February, it's one of those things where it's kind of like, this is why we need the kids in school. Like the absences are going up and the grades are starting to slip a little bit, so.
So I'm belaboring this point. I understand this and I'm shooting myself in the foot for it, but I'm not sure why we can't just stipulate that any absence is not a good absence. And we understand that kids do better when they're in school. They learn better when they're in school. Obviously, they're in the seats, they're having access to the curriculum. So why would we be surprised if the absences go up, that the grades also, I mean, are we gonna argue about, would we argue that if the grades stay the same, then attendance doesn't matter? Like, I'm not sure what I just don't understand.
Those two columns might be more for me and my admin team than they are for you. Because it is within our goals. And we're not gonna spend a lot of time each month talking about this. I spent more time because we changed it, wanted to share the thoughts. But really, I agree with you, you're gonna look at the absences and go, of course, there's a ton of kids absence. We expect grades aren't gonna be as good, right? That's the correlation. And all absences are bad. My team is gonna look at the other columns, really particularly in vacation, and the number and this to go, that's where we want to make sure, this is my accountability to show you that we know what's going on with these kids and we're trying to control and impact where we can.
So the goal would be for, if there's a number that we see on there that we say, oh my God, what the heck's going on? That we ask you, like you ask your admin, to make sure they understand and know what's going on. So you can let us know what's going on.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes more sense. It's just, I want to know what our responsibility is
You
as
see the
a
data.
board as it pertains to this stuff.
You see the data. Your expectation should be, Phil, next month, there's 490 absences in December. And I'm gonna say, we know the norovirus took out 25% of the school in center school, and they were out for days, and there's their absences. I should have that answer for you. That's the expectation.
We also will know when, like, the benchmark assessments happen, when SBAC comes around, all of those things. I think it's about understanding what all is going on so that when we are asked or when we need to speak on test scores, we have background information. What else can we do with this? Find ways to promote attendance, come up with ideas as a group as to what we can do to help.
I'm all about that, I think we should do that anyway, like that's to me
right,
an important part of this.
And there's two other thoughts too. When we attended the CABE conference, the Commissioner of Education spoke, and she had graphs to show in the state of Connecticut how attendance was going down. She was, remember that, Phil?
Yep.
She was very proud of, I mean, the state is not.
It was improving.
Yeah, it was improving. I mean, it had gone down instead of up.
The amount of truancy was declining.
It was declining, so that was a good thing, so it's also a state issue. And then the parents, when the students reach that 9 level, get a letter, very specific, you know, sharing the policy, you know, once again, reminding how important it is that students attend school. So, so there are lots of wheels in place trying to make this improve.
Yeah. Can you pull it up one more time? I have a clarifying question. I don't need another column or anything, but I just need to ask a clarifying question. So we look at the bottom part where it says with students over 5 and students over 10. So if you have 29 over 5 and you scroll down, you go into the over 10. So 4 of those 29 have over 10? Okay.
So that's not 5 through 9, that's just total 5.
It's actually 6, because it's more.
6,
than
yeah,
five.
6
Yes.
through 9, it's not that, it's 6 and up.
6 and up.
And then that just breaks it out.
And now it goes.
Well, right, right.
The
So
next
there's-
step is there's 4 students that have 11 or more.
Right.
Yep.
That's, okay.
Which to me, at this point in the year, that's like, I wanna know my administrators know who those kids are. And the answers were like, absolutely.
And how does that compare to previous years?
I didn't go back to be honest with you.
Okay, yeah, I don't think that's great.
Alright, do you have any other this time around, Phil?
I do, I have 2 quick others. First, I jinxed us, the boilers at HMS are still having issues. Central Mechanical's back trying to identify the cause of the problems. I feel like at this point, I just wanna pull both boilers out and just like have the sun warm the building, I don't know. Just drive me crazy. So we're on that. And then second, this came out, I think on Friday. We all got an invitation to Region 19 to the joint meeting on Monday, the 15th, at 6 p.m. I looked back last year and I can't find anything that we posted in an agenda. I don't remember if everybody came. I remember sitting in this room.
I was here.
I remember that, I think you reminded me of that.
School building committee passed, by the way.
Yes, school building committee did pass, yes,
Oh, it did, okay.
yes. So I'm asking you,
Oh, we
it is,
hear-
I didn't know anything about it until the invite was hit my mailbox and it went to, even though it didn't say it, from what I understand is it went to every Board of Finance member, every Board of Selectmen member, every Board of Education member, and superintendents in Ashford, Willington, and Mansfield. And that was our opportunity. I remember being on screen last time and it was meant to be on Zoom. I don't remember if we had a meeting at the same time and we did it before anybody that wanted to show up.
We did, because I was home, because I was on that meeting as that board member and then came here
Yes,
to
that's
this
right,
meeting as this board member.
So we did not post that last year. And I don't know why I didn't think that was a big deal. Maybe it's because we didn't have a quorum. But to me, if you're going to have any conversation about budget and future of Willington Public Schools, pre-K through 8th grade, and you're going to have a quorum, whether you're online or here, and you're going to have conversation, we should post it. So my question to you is, are you planning on attending? And if we're gonna have a quorum, I'm just gonna take their link, post a generic agenda that's for Monday for 6 PM for Zoom, that just basically says regional discussion. And
Is that what the other districts are doing? Because I feel like everyone should be on the same page with that.
so I asked, listen, in my opinion, the Board of Selectmen should post an agenda if they're gonna have a quorum. See, the Board of Finance should post an agenda if they have a quorum. You're having a conversation that is, and maybe we did it because we called it a workshop, but even still, you still have to post it. So I have a message out to Cindy and Sharon. I did not call Mansfield. The Ashford superintendent thought it only went to a couple, not to her full board, but it did, from what I understand from talking to Region 19. So they can do whatever they want. I just feel like from an FOI perspective, if you're going to meet and talk about the budget, I'm responsible for you to a degree. And I feel like we should post it. And I will offer the same thing up to Steph Summers, who's the Board of Finance Chair, correct? And to Mike McCoo. I would just need to know from you, if you're planning on attending and we're going to have a quorum, we should post it.
So I will be attending as a region board member, so I will not be attending as this board member.
How do you do that?
So I think the whole question is whose meeting is it, and it's Sharon's. So that's why I don't know about our responsibility for posting it, because it's technically a region meeting. It's just we're all invitees to it. So
I think FOI would say though, if you are happen to be in the room at the same time, it's okay. But if you happen to be in the room at the same time and you're talking about board business, which you would be doing, it is also a meeting. It is also a board.
I won't be there. I'm double booked. I just checked.
I didn't get it. I don't believe I got an invitation.
We'll check it.
Come to our
I'm in there right now.
our
Yes.
board email?
I got it in my Board of Ed email.
Okay, I can check that then again. Okay.
It's, to me, it's a non-conversation if you're not gonna have a quorum. But if you are, and I understand what you're saying, like you're acting, but you are both.
Right, correct. You should.
So if you're on screen, technically, whether you're only speaking about Region 19, someone could say, well, Arthur was there.
I wonder if that falls into the happenstance category that you're talking about.
No,
I don't know, but
I didn't call the attorney about it because I figured I'd wait to see what you had to say as far as the number of people that wanted to attend.
It seems to me that like you said, it's Sharon's meeting, so an agenda with Zoom link information should come from her.
But she doesn't post our meetings, we do. And the FOI request
Yeah,
us.
but even if we're emailing each other, they could call that a quorum.
Could we not then share it
True.
as?
Not that we would post it as a meeting, but someone could.
We would just share the online link of what they're
right.
using.
so when we met for the school building thing, when the three groups met, we had one call to order, but then they all had to be adjourned individually.
Yeah.
Does that have something to do with it? Because we're not gonna be adjourning each other individually on this meeting, I can tell you that much.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if that's got the technicality to do with it. I don't see the harm, to be honest with you, if you wanted, like, there's no downside to it. I just don't know if it's 100% necessary.
Well, let's figure out.
Speaking? Well, I won't be there,
I
but
know at that last
who is
time,
attending?
I don't think there was an agenda last
We
time.
just
In fact, I
listened, right?
assumed it would
Yeah.
be about a certain topic and that was not
Yes,
addressed
I
at
did-
all. It
I
was
did
something
too, yes.
totally,
Yeah, it was about free lunches or something.
yeah, it
It's
got.
also-
Yeah, no,
really-
Tony took over. and-
It's also the way that we invite the public.
I
So
think
if
that's
we're
what I'm
counting
saying,
on
like-
That's my
Sharon's-
point, is I
Yeah,
don't
think-
feel good about having the intent, whether they write informal or formal, doesn't matter. The intent is if you're going to have a discussion that is about the regional approach for budgeting, and I think, right, people are gonna talk about what's big on their plate. Hey, we're gonna have a great year because of X, Y, and Z. Financially, we would share that. If we're gonna have a terrible year because of X, Y, and Z, the idea is to share it with each other to see where everyone's at. That's a discussion, although you don't know where you are yet, neither do I. I think that you would
Share it with.
be
public.
talking about those things, and that's your budget.
I think we need to do what's best with us, for us, and we
are trying to be as clear and transparent and inclusive as possible. Also though, I feel weird inviting Willington residents to other towns' meetings that I'm not like hosting. So without their permission, I feel weird about it.
Yeah, on that
You know what I'm saying?
note,
Like, it's tricky.
the region meetings aren't Zoom, they're live stream only, so if you wanna be a public participant, you have to be in the room. So Sharon doesn't share out Zoom links with the public, it's strictly if you wanna participate, you're in the room. And this one's not going to be, there's not gonna be a room to be in for this one, it's only Zoom.
See, to me, in that
Private?
case,
Yeah.
it should be realistically, and this is how I would ask the chair and the vice chair, or a board of select member, because it's only one, there are three, they can't have two, and two board of finance members, because they don't make a quorum, to attend the meeting, right? If I attend, it doesn't matter. You could have those conversations, no, and then it doesn't matter, you don't have to post it, because it's just, you know, it's a conversation.
Oh, yeah.
But I can ask Sharon, 'cause that's a good point, I don't know how they're doing it, and I agree, I wanted to find out what your thoughts were before I called her back. Cause I called her and she called me back.
Will she record it? And do we have permission to post the recording on our website?
That is a good question, the live streams are recorded. I don't know what she's planning to do with this one.
Okay.
She didn't specify.
So if for this meeting, is it intended to be a public meeting, they could attend in the room if they wanted to?
No, this is Zoom only, we only have a Zoom. I don't believe we
So
have
you
a
can only
library.
go if you're invited or have the link.
You know what?
So it's not.
And that's where I'm struggling, because it would be a meeting for you now. And you can't keep people out of a meeting if you're going to have a.
Well, who's planning to go?
Well, I thought it was gonna be a meeting, so.
In-person only meeting.
Well,
Just have it secured.
I would consider it, yeah.
Tracy, did you have it? Oh, you did.
Yeah, I would consider it.
Okay.
Yeah. So we could have a quorum? What do
Yeah,
we
we
need
do.
for a quorum for?
Or we have that.
I'd rather be
And a
at
half.
the table.
We have
than
four and a
not.
half.
Who's the,
Well, four and a half.
who are the maybes? Who,
What day is it?
Monday,
What time?
5:15.
Is it 6 p.m.?
Six, sorry.
6 p.m.
and Brianna, are you a maybe?
Yes, no, yes.
You're a yes.
I'm a maybe.
But we should be able to count Arthur as a whole person, which
He is.
Yeah,
gives
I'll
us
start
a
now.
quorum.
Don't start now.
He is.
Um,
Jen, are you in, or are you?
Who's a definite?
Maybe.
I'm a maybe.
All right, so there's enough that I need to get some information from
Yeah.
Sharon. If I say to Sharon, if she wants it to be a private meeting, meaning not a public broadcast, I'm going to say to you, you should not have a quorum at this meeting, and you put 3 people in the room of who then not send for. Does that make sense?
If she's
Will we
okay.
come here or are we gonna all separately go?
Doesn't,
Arthur counts for optics.
you can, he's one of the 3,
So we could only have 2 others.
correct? Do you understand that, do you understand my point?
But we could have
We
whoever
agree.
goes kind of give a report or something.
Oh, yeah, we can share out afterwards.
I mean, there probably should be some kind of document for our public, not minutes per se, but.
I went wild with Brenda trying to find out why we didn't post it, what we did differently, try to see if there was a recording, there was nothing, but I remember being in the Zoom.
I think it's the same circumstances.
So,
Like it's-
so
Well, I would be
It's
sure
always
to
a-
ask her about recording, if she will record it and
And
if
she
you
doesn't
can
share the
share it.
Zooms.
she does not share the Zoom with her public, and it is only Zoom, there's no library media center option.
okay,
It's an informal discussion about budget priorities, constraints, and potential legislative action, so the potential legislative action that we talked about so we talked last year about doing rolling averages for the town as far as, their contribution to Region 19, so it's not really based solely on students from year to year. It turns out that process is actually a lot easier than we thought it was gonna be to convince the state to do it, so we're really trying to get the ball rolling on that, so I actually think, unlike last year, where I thought that was gonna be the topic of discussion, I think that's going to be a topic of discussion this year, hopefully. So I think that's the big thing about that.
All right, so ask her,
I'll find out, and I mean, that's, listen, you do what you want. If you wanna put all 7 of you in the room and not post it, that's up to you. I am not recommending that you have a quorum at that meeting if you're not going to post the link. That's my recommendation. If you want me to ask Chris Cheney about that, I'm definitely gonna talk to Sharon. I definitely don't wanna share her link if it's not meant to be a public meeting, if it's meant to be the, selectmen, people that are gonna be able to share the big picture and then report out, no problem.
Are you attending, Phil? Did you?
I can attend, but I don't matter in that picture.
But you have the most accurate information
Yeah,
about
but
our budget.
not about any of that.
okay,
To be determined.
I will email you out once I have the answers, but, cause I have to post it by Thursday, cause it's Monday.
Yes.
So I'm gonna move pretty quick on that. Okay.
Brianna, do you wanna let us, or Phil, do you wanna let us know if we can't have a quorum?
I will let you know if we can't have a quorum, and then you can tell me who's going. And no offense to all of you, but the chair might be able to, she might get to dictate that.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's already there's already 1, and if she wants to go, there's 2. So it might be rock, paper, scissors to figure out.
Okay.
Guess a number.
All right, sorry, I
Tell
didn't
us how
mean
the
to
battles
open a can
now,
of
right?
worms, but
Yeah.
I just didn't. Jen,
the red rover.
you had your hand up before too when I was talking. Did I?
I just wanted to tell you the SBC.
Oh, thank you so much.
Fantastic. All right, let's do this financial report.
And can you just go back to her for 1 second? Sorry. Phil, were you able to talk to the 4th grade teachers at Center to talk about how they're going with the,
I did. I got really good feedback I didn't talk to 4th grade teachers. Lisa got feedback from the 4th grade teachers, and they were very happy of how things were going, to the point that they were like, I will call them inseparable at PD that I sat with them on Friday, like the 3 of them were right there, things were going well. I don't have any data to show yet, but she's doing exactly what we wanted. She's helping out in instruction, she's going between rooms, she's running groups, she's doing some intervention. I've gotten really good feedback about it, so.
Even during conferences, she was jumping back.
She was there for both, yes, yeah. We actually have a staff dinner at Center School, that Jane Castle puts on, and they didn't come because they wanted to make sure they got all of their conferences in with her there. So they scheduled all of the conferences that way. I don't know if you want any more information or data.
well, I mean, there was a concern that 4th grade teachers weren't consulted about this before we did.
They
So
were.
I wanted to clarify that first and also make sure that it's going the way it should be going.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
It is. And they were consulted because they sat in the room with me, with Lisa, with Kristen, with Heidi, and the teachers. So we had a conversation about it.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Okay,
Financial report. Here we go. Money, money, money. All right, this is not a big exciting financial report. There's not a ton of stuff that on here. Title I still, Don's gotta apply it. We just, got accepted, I think. So just gotta apply it. We're waiting to see on the non-lapsing funds to see how things turn out. We encumbered some funds for supplies and plumbing. I feel like we might be able to do a branch of plumbing contractors out of the middle school program. Because we've just spent so much disgusting money on plumbing, it's just frustrating. It's just frustrating, it's a lot of money. Same thing, HMS, a lot of maintenance type things, security cameras repaired, environmental testing, the radon is going on, boiler repairs, things like that. So that's pretty consistent. The new OT is encumbered in program 3. It was a little bit cheaper, so we saved a little bit of money.
I do not have that Did we get sent the,
It was late.
Yeah, it was a separate
Yeah,
one.
it's actually,
I don't know.
yeah.
We were.
It came on,
Yesterday?
yeah, yesterday, yep.
If you did not get it, just email Brendan, I'll make sure she gets it to you. We did encumber funds for homeless transportation and I am gonna next year. We had a year where it was okay, we had a year where we got hit really hard and we're gonna get hard again. And so I'm gonna put some money into the budget next year. Because you have to pay for it, it's unbudgeted, but it's a good thing we prepaid the bus, let's just say that. Health services, I mentioned pretty much the same thing from last time. We encumbered all the stipends that are on the program 6, that's all set, so we spent some money there, no change in utilities. We encumbered some funds for the maintenance stipend out of program 8, minimal change out of 9. And then the business office has been, again, reconciling as new staff come in, insurance and things like that, but they did the social security and second tax that we pay. She updated that based upon the new salaries. So not a lot to show. Obviously shows that we're $70,000 in the hole, but there's that much money and then some that's not applied in grants. But I am watching this closely to see how things go.
Have we gotten all of our federal money?
Nothing was impacted.
Okay, that's good.
All of our title funds were there, so we applied to clubs to that, we just paid that directly, it's not in your budget. Nothing was impacted, so, but again, I'm watching it, it's a tight budget again, so. Questions about that?
All right, agenda item 11 is new business. We have some regular meeting minutes to approve from November 11th. Can somebody make a motion for that, please?
So moved.
Give me a second.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Other than, thank you, Jen, you did a great job. Okay. We are ready to vote. I'm gonna abstain because they did not participate. So we'll go around. John?
Yes.
Sam?
Yes.
Jen? Arthur?
Yeah.
Anne?
Yes.
Tracy?
Yeah.
All right, motion passes. We have accepted those minutes. All right, next we're gonna take a look at the BOE 13-month meeting calendar. Hopefully everybody had a chance to look through that.
It's on screen, it's basically the same format.
Taking us all the way around
Then-
to 2027.
Yeah.
Is that getting approved tonight or is it?
You have to get this in December so that it's
Okay.
posted, it goes to the town clerk and this is what goes to the state. It's the same format, second Tuesday of the month,
All right,
that's what's there.
so we need a motion to
I move to approve the calendar of meetings for the Willington Board of Education 26-27.
Second.
give it to Sam. Discussion. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Everyone? Okay. Let's send that on to the clerk. Next is the 26-27 Willington Public Schools draft calendar. This is our first look, so to speak, I think.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. It's modeled after this school year, matches the state and local contract requirements, what we have in our unions. 182 student days, 188 staff days, that's teacher days. We're putting a key in the bottom. We just realized when we looked at this last time, we're like, hey, we don't have a key. So the SD is staff development days, obviously H is holiday, B is vacation. We have 5 days that show staff development, the SD. What I'll tell you is in those first 3 days in the beginning, really only 2 of those are, because half of one of those days is classroom setup and the other half is really the meet and greet. And then of the 2 days left, we do a thing for convocation, we do a full staff. So if there's not a ton of time there, that's like the kickoff. And then there are in those days the mandatory training, cybersecurity training, sexual harassment training, DCF training. Sometimes it's physical management training. If there's any changes because of policy and legislation, that's done at those times. So those days are packed in there. That's pretty consistent. What's a little bit different this year is that where Labor Day falls, it's a little bit later. So, but I like where we get out. That's in June. That's just my take. You could look at that. The other items, there are 6 half days for professional development, which really, even though it's called a half day, just to be honest, it's 2 hours. Because by the time kids get out, it's not a true half day. And so those days are used for like follow-up training for new professional development. And we have a committee that, our professional development committee that identifies what goes on in those. This year, it's been learning in the brain, multiple sessions, physical management training, which is legally required for certain staff, dyslexia training. We have had WIN training, which is what I need, and that's intervention planning. The integration of science and social studies units into CKLA. We've done some assessment planning. We've done the math training and M class. So in those half days, it's just a chance for teachers to collaborate across grade levels where they might have common time together. It also allows us to do things across schools if we want to. I'm advocating for those 6 to be there again. And many of those trainings are they are more than an hour. So you can't get them done in the staff meeting. We've used a solid 2 hours to get through those items. And again, used to reinforce new learning. The shorter things happen at staff meetings. So it might be a quick 15-minute snapshot of new learning, and then, hey, this is how you're gonna apply it. And those are contractual. The other half days that you see on the calendar, like November, is the conferences for Thanksgiving here, and then Thanksgiving, so that's not PD. You have the December 23rd, that's not PD. And then you have the days that are where we do a half day. This is what we're talking about. This is where you take your vacations. Look at February, right? We have a half day on the 11th for PD, a full day of PD on the 12th, and a holiday and a vacation day the next week. We want families to go on vacation at that time, right? And we try and tie those together. March is the 4th and 5th. Those are spring conferences. If there's time for some PD, we fit it in, but typically there's not a lot of time for PD there. The 21st, Brenda and I actually talked about this and we forgot to move it. I am gonna recommend that be on the 28th, not on the 21st. It was a mistake that we didn't get to. So it would be the same concept. It's Memorial Day weekend. So the half day on the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday off, if that makes sense. So not on the 21st.
What are you talking about the 21st?
So see May 21.
Yeah.
Ours says 28.
Oh, you says 28?
Yeah.
I didn't, oh, she fixed it on yours and not on mine.
But it's still.
It is on there, but the one you have is right.
Yeah.
So the 28th is supposed to be what it's supposed to be.
Okay.
I just didn't get the new download, that's all. Sorry. She was ahead of me then. So the concept here, again, it's modeled after what we've been doing. I was supposed to have a regional meeting with superintendents. It was canceled. I need to confirm with them. I'm pretty sure everyone's doing the same week of April vacation, which is important. And I'll confirm that. But where we can align some days, there's not many because contracts are different, but we do have a couple days that are aligned.
And are we offering childcare on those days, just like?
The half days that are professional development, yes.
Okay. I think we have another shot at this if anybody wants, right? If anybody wants.
You do, this is not up for approval tonight. This is like, do you want to change anything, or recommend, do you want me to send me back and look at anything? That's.
I'll be curious to see what happens in February when we look at how many vacation days are used then around, because that's a little bit longer stretch than we have in October.
I think it's been consistently there that way though. I could look back and see if anybody's extended it.
Okay.
But again, I'd rather them extend that a day and get 5 days in,
Yeah, exactly.
6 days, 7 days, whatever it is with the Saturday and Sunday.
And I'm still
I know.
looking at October, like what,
You have to get a 6, 7 in there.
Oh, sorry, my fault.
if 50 kids, well, not 50, if 50, whatever days are being used around that October time, is there a way to play with PD to create one more day? I don't know.
An additional staff, full staff on day, it's contractual. It's a number of days.
Yeah, I don't know, where would you pull one from, Anne?
Yeah.
That's what I'm hearing you, so that's what I was looking for, like, is there one to pull that would make sense? I don't really think there
And I
is.
need them at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, and the extra day that you don't see on there, Ann, is not really the staff development day, their 188th day, 88th day is actually June 9th. It is a cleanup day, it is contractual, we can't have any meetings or PD on that day.
Okay. Okay, so we'll look at this again next time. In the meantime, if anybody has any questions, you can send them on. All right, 2026-27 budget calendar. We are going to nail this time.
Yep, this is, they're meeting after us, really all you need to do is just vote on, please, is the 14, 21, 28, and 10, because we know the referendum is gonna be when it's gonna be, but they don't have their dates yet. What I have been told is that we are going to be presenting a week earlier, they believe, than what we did last year. It does not impact your calendar at all. It would still be done. You still, if you vote on the February 10th, you're still fine.
When that is out, they usually share that with you and then
Yes.
you pass that to us.
And then I update
This thing at the bottom.
that on the
Like
bottom.
when we're presenting.
Correct. That's just like bonus information. Really, what I want to do is get this part out to the public to say, if you want to participate in the budget process and hear what it is and what's going on in schools.
Yeah, so that's what I was gonna say. If we know when we're presenting to Board of Finance, that's, we need to figure out our public awareness strategies prior to that. And then we need to also, and it's already December right now, figure out how and what we can do to better advertise these workshops to improve our attendance and participation. Because that is something I think I certainly have identified as an issue. I'd be willing to bet you all agree. So, maybe when we have a regular meeting at the top of January, if people can come with ideas about things we can do. I mean, I don't know what a budget icon looks like, but we could like get a costume maybe. I don't know. We need to up it. We need to be more visible. We need to like jazz this up somehow because we're gonna be easy this time, like I said. All right, so we're approving this tonight, Bill? Or we're just agreeing to it informally?
That's up to you if you want, either way, if these are the dates, those are the dates, I just wanna make sure that. You can't change it, because I'm gonna start posting this everywhere and getting on calendars and stuff.
And if you're not able to, does anybody need more time to check on these, like for real?
I'm good.
Or we like basic, okay, we're just, okay, and if you can't
Those are the dates.
attend, then,
Sweet.
I mean, Zoom is an option. We'll also just send your questions or anything you might wanna know ahead of time, so we can still talk about them here. Like, even if you send them to me, I can jot them down and then bring them up at the meeting. And then please make sure that you watch the recording so that, you're caught up, so we don't have to do a lot of backtracking. It'd be better to be proactive. Okay, I say we vote on them. Does anybody else feel like doing a vote, or we wanna just move on? What do you guys wanna do?
Vote for it.
Me too. So can somebody make a motion, please?
I move that we approve the dates for the,
Budget.
the 2026-2027 budget workshops.
Second. Jen, discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Great. All right, I'll see you all then. I'll be taking snack requests also, if you want to that this time. No chocolate. Is that what you said last time? You did want chocolate.
Dark chocolate.
You did, you said one or the other. You liked fruity or you liked chocolate, but not the other one. Haunts me. Okay. Next on to, I don't get it wrong. Okay, BOE committee assignments, yay!
All right, so it's on screen.
Good.
You had a chance to revisit your committees, this is what you've had, the last 2 years. I honestly expect there's two hot, committees up there for the future. Policy is one, and facilities is the other, and that's everybody. Finance, I I don't know that you're gonna be doing a ton of stuff, because typically the finance things you'd be doing would be big projects, roof things, you'd be meeting to do those things. If there's an SBC and there's a school project, it's them, it's not you, okay? The transportation, that contract is coming around, next year is the last year in the 5-year contract. So there would be some transportation things in there. So of the standing committees, the hot one, is, I will say, hot 2 or facilities and policy. And then the other piece, the ad hoc committees negotiation, that work has been done. We're good for a couple of years for the most part. Clubs is flying. I don't know that it's really something ad hoc that's meeting. Wellness is coming back. I'm gonna be honest with you. That's something that we have to do this year. And security has to meet, and curriculum is gonna be meeting, so.
The security
You just tell us what you're doing.
is
Just you?
annual.
It's
That's a larger
so,
group.
it is the larger group, it's because it's everybody and their
The teachers
friends.
and the administrators.
It's police officers, it's firefighters, it's emergency personnel, the emergency management director, it's a lot of people.
I think that's really important, obviously for immediate reasons, but also when looking towards doing some kind of renovation or build
Yeah.
project, everything they say is critical to keep in mind when moving forward.
Yeah.
So if we know, like the top 10 really specific things, which I'm sure we can guess, and I'm certain you already know, when we sit in on those SBC meetings and such, we will make sure that those are brought attention to.
Yeah.
Okay.
So-
And then curriculum, you have.
You get to figure out if you just wanna say, leave it alone, or you wanna throw them up in the air, that's.
Now Jen served on policy this year in my place.
When you couldn't go, she was there.
Well, and that was most of the second half of the year, so probably most of the year.
Do you want?
Are you saying
Want to
you're,
continue it, Jen? Yeah.
If you're not gonna do it, then
I'm on a couple others, I think, so that would probably be good for me to step away from.
watch this in live action. Let's look at that, this is.
you're gonna have to fix it anyway.
This is gonna be, yeah. Look at that, that makes it official.
Yeah, now it's on the committee list.
That makes it real.
Okay.
Any other, and sorry,
Does everybody, do you want me to read it so everybody knows what they're doing, or are you guys good?
I agree. Does anybody want to change? I don't, I like my spots.
I haven't had time on transportation.
Is it a good one?
Yeah, I enjoyed learning all about that in the J project.
Running numbers against buses and vans and.
You better bring up the van every chance you get. Counting on the best.
I have a coworker who
It's-
works IT there.
not on here, but you also should be thinking about, SPC.
Yeah, we're gonna have to figure out, we officially we don't know. Last time we had one official representative from Bailey to go on.
Yeah, and I don't know what the plan is moving forward, I honestly don't know. I bring that up just because from a time perspective, everybody gets, the policy, the facilities piece. The policy is the one that's gonna be the most time up there. So if that's something that some people could do both. I just wanna make sure, and it doesn't mean you can't change this in the future. Right, if someone says, hey, I'm gonna be the person, you agree, this is the person that's going to SBC, and it's one of those 3, and they're like, look, I really would like to step down to policy, so I can't do all my efforts to SBC, you could then fill it later at a date, there's nothing that says you can't change these at a later date. Does that make sense?
I'm also willing to, my alternate position on transportation, if there's anybody else that has an interest in that. It isn't already on it.
And that committee's so short, it's not, I don't expect it to be long.
All right, we don't know what club. That's good.
So you saving it as is, so I should change this to?
Yeah.
For now?
5-7.
Yeah, and we write that, but there's nothing that says that policy, unless you can change that, it's just.
Okay. All right, let's move on to some CIP requests.
All right. Let me, she's getting ahead of me, she's moving quick.
Yes, she is.
I have two CIP requests for you. I did not write them up because they're pretty unique. One, you need to figure out what you want to ask the CIP committee for in the big bucket of money. And my suggestion to you is go back and ask for $1 million again to keep building up what's in that coffer, because I think this year was 650. I don't remember exactly.
That sounds correct.
650, correct? Is it? So to me, the minimum is 650. I would go back to the $1 million and hope for whatever you gets put in there, because I strongly feel this way about this, is that if there is no project and there is $4 million in there, you know the number of projects that need to happen in these two schools. That amount of money will cover the two roofs. Not a lot of other things, like it will cover the cost of the two roofs. It's a lot of money for the roofs. And by the time you get to it, if you're not gonna do any big projects, a big renovation or a new school, you probably will have to do the entire roof at both buildings. And consider some HVAC things while you're doing that, because it makes sense, right? So that $4 million quickly goes away. If you do a big project, it goes towards the big project. So to me, asking for, you just need to tell me what number you want me to give Jim Marshall. If you want me to ask for 1.5 million, that's up to you. You tell me what you want.
We went for originally 1 million last year, if I remember correctly. What's the 1.25 or something?
Well, it's originally it was a 5-year agreement with I remember it was 10 or 12% escalator on it over the years, and that got dropped very quickly. So this would be year 4. It should be 4 million, but we've spent some of it.
Not much though, yeah.
I would just like to know what we've pulled out of it, just so we're not.
I think it's like 30,000.
I know
Should be interest, like there should be interest on that too.
Oh, there is.
Yeah.
There is.
So maybe we made up in what was spent with interest, so we're still at about 4 million.
Get it to
At
5.
what point would we know? I'm sure it's way down the road. I'm just thinking about how we could say how much we have in the bank right now. Like in my mind, we get that huge reimbursement rate. That's a good way toward paying it off.
Mm-hmm. And and there's a couple approaches to it, right? You could just dump a bunch of money in the front side of it to keep the first 2 years cheaper. You could spend that money over the course of the bond. You could do all of it at once and to try and keep costs down. There's a lot of different ways you could do it. The other piece that they're gonna have to consider is if they do a big project, is it a 20-year bond or is it a 30-year bond? All of those things, I think the bottom line is whatever avenue they're gonna take, they're going to try and take an approach to where it hits the taxpayer the least amount of money just in one big hit. So that's gonna be an SBC financing question. It is close to $4 million. We did not spend a lot of that money because the other SBC money came out of a different pot. We spent a little bit of money on tree work and some, but it's like $5,000 here, it's not a lot. So
I think it's great if we can say that it may be even another $1 million next year to get rid of that bubble at the beginning. Because remember when we looked at the bond financing, for the taxpayers, it looked like this. There was a huge bubble at the beginning and then it went down. So if we could get rid of that bubble,
That's on them.
it would
They're,
really be
yeah.
a selling point. Yeah.
Can you remind me, if we were to go that route, do we pay, is the interest on the bond, the total project cost or the total cost of the town?
Ask that question again.
The interest that we would pay on the bond, whether it be a 20 or 30-year bond.
Yeah.
That total amount of interest, is that the project total cost or is that the total cost to the town? So is it $60 million worth of interest on the bond, or would it be $20 million, however much the project's gonna be after the reimbursement rate to the town is what we're paying interest on that bond?
Oh, no, you're only paying interest on, I understand.
You understand what I'm trying to ask?
Yes, so it's an $80 million project. After reimbursement, it costs the town $8 million. You're paying the interest on the bond for $8 million. Yes, you're not paying on 80, correct?
Okay.
Yes.
Good question.
Wasn't sure how that worked.
That would be painful if that were the case.
Yeah.
Yes.
What we do.
Yeah, and I'm saying 8 or 9 million, I don't know the
Yeah,
exact
just for
number,
the sake of.
but you know, that 93% reimbursement, that's really, it's,
So is the reimbursement an upfront check that the?
nope, it's pay along the way because they bond it as well.
Yeah.
So do we have to fund it and then get it back?
There's a lot of ways. We're only on the hook for after the grant, if the grant were approved, you're only on the hook for your reimbursement. You would know that amount at that point. You then have decisions about how you want to do that. If they just say you are gonna owe $10 million, you figure out how you wanna do it. You wanna do it in 1 year, go for it. You wanna do it in 100 years, you gotta find a bonding company that will allow you to do that, right? You have to sort that out. And obviously, the longer the bond, the more interest you're gonna pay. And then you figure out there's bonds that it yo-yos, and some bonds that are just consistent for taxpayers. You're always gonna pay $345,000 every year for X number of years. You have to figure out what.
A variable or a fixed rate.
Yes, right, which is the best way to do it.
So you think we have around 4?
It's close to it. I mean, you might have 3.9,
And the 650 is because we asked for.
but I can find out.
The 650 is because we asked
Oh,
for
no,
like
you're right.
1
We can get the
1/4 and
It would-
it got slashed and slashed and slashed and slashed. And the justification was the year before, we got 1.35 and that 650 brought it back to the 2 million over 2 years. So that's why I'm hesitant to just leave it at $1 million, because
That's what I'm
that's
saying,
what
make up for the difference.
everybody goes to, that's what they cut.
So let's ask for 1.5 million maybe, or 1.25 million.
I was thinking more.
What do you say, half?
I was thinking more 1.25, because it's kind of strikes a balance.
Yeah. Because that's a little
And
more fluff.
almost anticipating that that's what's gonna get cut, more than likely. I hate doing that and thinking that way, but 2 out of the 3 has been, it's been cut.
Trying to.
Now, I have another question, Phil. The 100 that we had last year on the school building committee, that was separate of the Board of Ed. So they will go to CIP and ask for what they need to operate their committee.
Yep.
Okay.
Jen, what do you want?
I'm not typically a sunshine and rainbows kind of person, so take this for what it's worth, but I feel like there's a different yield this time as far as the money that we're putting aside, because there's a bipartisan effort to have a project with an amazing reimbursement rate, and we can connect those 2 dots, as opposed to this just being this amorphous, not that it ever was, but that's kind of, I feel like, how it's presented sometimes. This amorphous project that never gets done. I think I feel more confident that we would be able to connect the dots with the money that we have in the bank and direct line to a project being done.
Yeah, for sure.
This would be going into year 5 years, so my math's off. We got $1 million the first year.
It's,
The second year is like 1.15 or something. We got over the $1 million the second year. third
I
year.
thought I saw him on.
Yeah, Jim is on.
Oh, he's on.
Yeah. I saw him.
I thought it was 4, but I thought it was year 4, but I could be wrong.
So can I ask him to,
Yeah, ask Jim what our number is, so we just.
are you all, is everybody okay with that?
Failed is when it
Yeah.
started. So what was the referendum for SB 21?
I think 21.
Yeah, so this would be year 4.
So we're at 1
We
Well,
would.
He probably knows what's up.
Because it got put in SBC that.
He's on there.
We're
Can I
waiting for
ask?
your approval
Yeah.
to ask him.
Oh,
Yeah.
we'd like
Oh,
to
sorry.
phone a friend.
Yeah. James Marshall, I just asked you to unmute. If you're listening and not,
Jim, there.
Hey guys, sorry, I'm not in an incredible position to talk. You have about 3 million in there with 2 years left in the original 5 million over 5-year plan.
thank you very much.
Yep.
This would be year 4. For you, this year coming up.
Yes.
Okay.
I say 1.25.
It's 5.
Okay. Yeah.
They can always say no.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah, you
It's a
don't
number.
assume that.
Yeah. Starting
They
point.
have to, they have to, so. I think every time that comes up too, we probably should, it's silly because we know why we're doing things, but other people don't always know why we're doing things. So if you're like, just skip the Board of Ed, $1 million, whatever dollars, people are like, what are you doing with that? I mean, I want t-shirts, but that's not coming out of that one.
It's the big project, whatever the
Yeah,
big
right,
project
yeah.
is.
But like, we need to have that on repeat, like always say why that is, we know what it's for. It's going in this little pot over here to hold on to,
We need to vote on that?
You should,
keep on selling that.
that, as item 1, yes, you should do a vote on that.
Okay. What do we say, 1, 2, 5? Alright,
I move that we request $1.25 million from the CIP to be placed in our savings account for the SBC project.
Second.
last discussion. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Thank you. Alright, so you'll take that to CIP.
Yep, and here's the second item, this is out of nowhere, okay, so bear with me. We are trying to figure out a way to do a joint project with the fire departments, both fire departments, for shared equipment. Something that will work for both groups, and I'm looking for this for snow removal. I approached Alex Moore and actually I approached both fire chiefs. And we're yet to meet, but I've pitched this idea to both of them and they're both interested. I have pitched a joint proposal for a UTV, a side-by-side, whatever you want to call it, that has multiple attachments that would then operate for 2 things. 1, snow removal, meaning plow and snow blower attachment. That's the school side of it. The fire department side is really search and rescue, lights, whatever bed they need for a board. Someone gets injured at Fenton Ruby in the trail, they can drive that in. They're not going to drive the Unimog in the monster in there. They are both interested in this. I will tell you that the cost is probably, the $40,000 to $50,000 range. I don't have all, because they need to identify what the specifics are. The cost goes up more with the fire equipment, to be honest with you. You could put a $12,000 piece of apparatus on there. I've run this quickly past Mike McCoo. Troy Spasada was the public works director, could jump in on this as well. They're having a harder time finding people that are to plow. If this is something that could be driven between schools because of lights and removing snow, help out at the library, help out at the senior center, easier to put someone in a machine like that than it would be to put them in a plow. It's meant really for sidewalks and minor parking lot areas. But it's something that I've been looking at for a while, and then when I pitched to them, they're like, that's a great idea. So I don't have a quote. I have a ballpark of a number that we've been looking at. that ballpark number doubled to 40 or 50. It's a lot of money, but it would get used on both sides and public works. So, someone needs to get something somewhere, we can drive it there because of the lights, it could be registered, it could be on the roads. It's expensive, but it's something that I'm pitching to you, and that I pitched to them, and they like the idea.
So you'd make sure it's a full cab.
This is winch, doors, lights, heat. Glass.
Perfect.
Yeah, yes, dump bed. There are some models that have shorter beds, some models have longer beds. Where we have to make sure we're in agreement, and if we're not, to be honest with you, this is not the right option for me. Because I'm trying to kill two birds with one stone, so what I'm trying to do is help them out too. But if the attachments are not quick attachments, and it takes a lot of work to change over a plow or a snow blower, that doesn't make sense. There are definitely models that have those things, and that's what we're looking at. So
I have two questions.
Okay.
What need is this filling for us that we don't have right now, or that we need to have fixed with this thing?
So I will tell you that this goes back many, many years. There was an intention to buy a tractor for Hall School for $30,000 many, many years ago, predates me. The money was approved and they bought a homeowner's tractor with a snow blower on it that gets more money in service annually than it does the work. It was 10 grand something, and it's a homeowner's tractor. It's not a commercial piece of equipment. And Steve has asked me every single year for something that's different, like something commercial grade. Something with a bucket, something that, that will do the work. He wants the snow plow, he wants the blade, the snow blower. If we did this, I would recommend selling the piece of equipment we have now. And it would fix that problem. The thing about this too is I'm also thinking long-term is that if we did do one school, we'd have a piece of snow removal equipment. Even if we don't have that, this is a piece of equipment that we could feasibly drive between the two buildings. In a big snowstorm where we need to remove a bunch of snow, we would have the equipment to do that. So right now, we have snow blowers that we're out there trying to hoof and push at Center. They have one at Hall as well, and they have the tractor that does not have a cab or anything, and he's driving that on Route 32. It doesn't have lights.
And that's our only means of snow removal right now, is the tractor and the snow blowers that we have at the schools.
Yes.
And where would it be housed?
So that is TBD. My feeling is it's gotta be housed someplace where it can be inside and it will fit. It depends on height. They have a shed at Hall School that could swap out the tractor and that, as long as height is okay. If that doesn't work, the next, to me, best logical solution is a fire station. There happens to be a fire station right down the road from both schools. So I know that Willington 1's fire station on 32 is pretty tight, especially right now. The Hill could probably fit something small like that inside. It's not a big space. But that's TBD. We didn't get that far. It may come out that we're it's not a good fit for what they're looking for equipment and what, it's meant to serve a new purpose for equipment they don't have and branch out. And trying to do it without having to tow it someplace.
You can drive between schools.
Correct.
And
Well, that's why you register it. You do that, you register it so that, and you just put people through safety courses for driving, like all that stuff happens.
I remember one more question. So if we divided it between the two fire stations and the school, then everybody would have an equal share of the cost.
It's not even seen that way, I don't think. I think it's not like, hey, they do 15,000, we do 15,000, they do 50,000. it's gonna meet the joint needs of this group, and this is the cost of it. I don't think it's meant to be broken out by a portion for each,
How do we know how much we're paying for?
because when they budget something in CIP, it's not your money, they budget $50,000 for the project, it's $50,000 for the project.
The request could go in on the name of the fire department
It is
and the schools.
It would be a joint request.
You could also include the town, and then they could do the senior center and the library, like you mentioned before.
I have talked to Troy about that, it is less of a need for him, although I have said if this were to happen, you would have access, just like he gives us access to a truck if we need a small truck for the, dump run or something.
And once the schools were cleared, then they could use it to clear other town properties.
I think, and again, you have equipment that you don't know how often you'll need it. But they come and do the loaders for us when we have big snowbanks and stuff. If you have a piece of equipment like this, that you're putting the guy in the cab, you can just ask them to chip away at it, as opposed to, they move that big snow and you're stuck.
Yeah, one concern that I have that I guess is kind of piggybacking off of her, but I'm not sure if it really matters for us and Jen. Sorry, because there was other people talking, it's there over here. I can just kind of see if it's stored at the fire station, how do we know? Because I could see it easily being like hopped into it, I'll just plow the driveway over here, I'll plow the parking lot. Like, how do we know that it's gonna be prioritized, even though it may not be something necessarily that's coming out of our budget? But my concern is it not being stored at one of our on-site facilities would be like, okay, well, it's at the fire station and they're using it, and you know what I'm trying to say, like, how does
We have to have a joint agreement for it, because if I can't open schools because they're using the equipment, it's gonna be a problem.
Okay. I didn't know if it was gonna become an issue.
We would write it.
Community bicycle type of thing.
No, we would have it, we wouldn't be out there with shovels. We would have a joint agreement. I would not get rid of our snow blowers that we have. It's just an additional piece, the tool. But it's much easier to ask someone to go out on a regular basis, when you have the right equipment. We don't and have not had the right equipment.
Is snow removal not part of our landscaping contract that we have?
It is not.
Interesting.
It is not.
And the town does the parking lots and the.
They do the parking lots where we do all of our, Troy would love to give up his parking lots because he's struggling to put people in trucks. This piece of equipment would not solve that. It would help them some. We could do some, but.
And would you put a mini sander in the bed or a salter?
Yes, yes. That's why I say quick, sorry, Jen.
No, that's fine.
Quick access. It needs to be quick access, so if they need it in emergency, they can take a plow off quick and go. They can take a sander off quick and go. We're not talking about a full bed-size sander, we're talking about throw a couple bags in and they can drive down the sidewalk.
They go up for the hitch and stuff.
Yes, correct. Yes, sorry.
It's a great idea.
So we're not voting on this tonight, right? Because there's no numbers or anything like that?
If you want me to continue to bring the idea forward, they're due.
I would.
Okay.
I don't know what CIP is gonna look like. They may say, well, this is, to me, it's an important thing that needs to be put out there. I don't know how it matches compared to the other priorities. I can't say that. What I will say is that both fire chiefs, I have had conversations with both of them. They are both interested. I just gotta get them in the room so I can go and look at one and actually price it out. I know what we need.
I think it would be purchased outright or leased.
No, it's okay.
Or we're not sure.
I think it depends, because there are several companies that have 0% financing for certain years. Incavote is one of the ones that we're looking at, a certain vehicle, because it has the quick attachments that are like plow on, plow off. It's a K attachment on the front. And they've got, for me, what I'm looking for in this, they have everything. I don't know if it has what the fire guys need yet.
Well, I'm just gonna say, I think it makes sense to pursue it. Like, I don't, there's not really a downside in having a conversation about it.
I just wanna make sure you're okay. if I don't wanna pitch a $50,000 idea, without you saying, yep, I mean, worst thing that happens is say, that's a great idea, but no, we can't do that this year, keep
Right.
getting more information, right? That's the worst thing that happens, and it's not the end of the world. I just had not pitched that to you before. And I will tell you, Steve Foligno has asked me every year at the end of the year money, can I get a tractor? Can we get something that can really remove snow? I've had a hard time wanting to pitch something that is just for us, for that amount of money, for the amount of use it would get. As a joint purchase, I see more value.
And I'll just say I appreciate that distinction because I'm thinking, well, why haven't we talked about this before? But that description makes sense. And I mean, we want functional equipment. We don't want the Taj Mahal. So those are the conversations, the balances that we have to find a lot. So I appreciate the fact that you're having these conversations with other town people. And I think that we need to have, maybe not we only, but I think all of these boards need to have more conversations about sharing stuff.
And that's the intent behind this. If you've ever gone up to Yukon, in any fall or winter, this is what they drive. They drive these little UTVs with enclosed, with salters on them, with plows, with snow blowers. They use them for their landscaping in the spring.
They do watering.
Yep, they do. They have water tanks on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if possible to invite the town. You
I
know,
have.
yeah.
It's, I just don't wanna come across as though they're gonna use it as home. Troy has said, I need the bigger equipment. He has his, excavator, and he has his, what am I trying to think of, the Bobcat with a loader. He has those bigger things. Skid steer, yeah, thank you. He has less need for this.
Okay.
So it would not be use of the parking lots, right? That's what we have. So this is more mostly sidewalks and what besides.
But it could an emergency pitch.
Well, I was gonna ask, how much snow could these realistically move? Because if you're doing it, if you get a decent snowstorm and you've got a parking lot like Hall's lower parking lot or Center's parking lot, I understand it's a powerful machine, but how much you realistically moving in that
It's the
big of
bank
a
that you're
space?
building up. When I,
Right.
it's that bank that you build.
Right.
I could push through, but it's the bank.
Yeah.
That's where you need the bigger equipment to start moving it
Right.
back.
Right.
And they bring the huge loader. When we have, we get 15 inches of snow, they bring the huge loader. We could potentially help Troy with some of the parking lots. You're not gonna push 6 inches of snow across the parking lot.
That was
with
my
this
concern.
machine.
I was like, it doesn't
No.
seem like it's a big enough machine to do the lots.
It's
If we're
not.
not doing the lots, then.
But you could do the driveway at Hall, going up the back.
Portions
door.
of it, yeah, and the idea is like, even if you did some passes with a sidewalk and pushed it closer to the river at Hall, guess what? It's less passes he has to make down, that's the idea behind it. So, but the primary is around the buildings. We have enough sidewalks here, right, that if I just said, drive over and do a sidewalk around, like, those are the agreements we have to figure out how to make. Who's driving it, who has access.
Do we own a broom sweeper currently or anything like that for the driveway?
So Troy has a bigger one.
Okay.
This is one that has that.
Yeah.
Because you can actually use them, so the broom sweepers actually work great when you have an inch of snow and it's powdery, you can just, or even slushy, you can fly around and go and salt at the same time.
Yep. And in the spring, clean up the driveway.
Salt, yeah,
Yeah.
yep, yes.
I was looking at the Kubota attachments.
You already
Wrapped your
guys.
I
I want one, get two, one
Yeah.
day.
Have you picked out all the attachments?
To me, the ease of attachments is really important and storage and being able to get them serviced and to maintain. That might be where Public Works can help us, is not sending something on a flatbed to go service it someplace. If we have a mechanic that can help out and change oil and do those things, hydraulics, that helps us.
I just would like to say, if we're gonna start purchasing vehicles or equipment like that, it would be good to be able to keep track of it. And just have a conversation, kind of a note somewhere, just to talk about how much it has been used over the past year and like what the wear and tear on it is. Like, just, I think that's a piece that's missing sometimes in
Logbook maybe, so we know who's used it when.
It's like an annual report of what we have.
Yeah, but that brings up a good point of who's gonna handle maintenance.
That's part of, so you were talking about an agreement and priority, like, we have priority when it becomes, if school's canceled and they need it for an emergency, off you go, right? But if we need to open, I'm saying we're 2 or 3 hour delay and we need to clear snow, it's not going to the senior center, you know, it's gotta be, or the fire departments, it's gotta be with us. And the agreements are like, okay, who's doing the training for the drivers? We take care of the curb insurance side. You can't drive it unless you have gone through the training. Who's, you know, can we work out the service plan with the town?
John wants to get on the list of
All
people that
those
get on
things,
it.
Yeah, for sure.
Volunteer.
Yeah.
So as long as you're good with that, I would like to pursue that, and if the cost gets unwieldy and the fire department says we just don't have agreement on the type of equipment we're trying to do collaboratively, I will let you know that.
If that's the case, then maybe we could revisit some other more feasible kind of equipment like
Yeah.
that.
They're just so expensive.
I know. But is it a way that we could get a used piece of equipment
Or
or
like at an auction or something.
like, I don't know. If in fact it ends up being that it doesn't work with fire departments.
Yeah.
I know that Stephanie got that stove from wherever that auction place is.
Just unlock, it was there.
Yeah.
Steve threw the $28,000 tractor at me on June 25th last year. And I just said, it's an auction. It's late in the year. Like, I haven't talked to the board about this, like, and I'm not convinced the tractor solves the problem.
Maybe big on the sidewalks.
Some of them are perfect for it, especially if they have a bucket and push snow over, but it's one use. And how often are we gonna use a tractor at a school? If we were at E.O. Smith that had an ag program and kids were taking care of it and learning how to use it, and they learned different stuff.
And would that be hard to drive from school to school?
Yes, it wouldn't. See it in 2 hours.
All right, so you're gonna check into that too. Thank you. Okay, we are on agenda item 11G, which regards the enrollment study report, which we're excited to have back from Peter Prouda, who's the individual who took care of this for us. There's brand new information, and we are going 10 years out. The purpose for this enrollment projection was to assist with the school building committee, because there's a formula that has to do with the projected enrollment and square footage accepted and or required by the state. Is that proper?
Very accurate.
Okay, so that's why we did this. And we have some interest. This will be available, right? for
Yep,
everyone?
this will be online.
Okay, and we're going to page.
So I just threw you right on page 17, which is, the 17 of the document, or 20, because realistically, you can read the rest of this, but the thing that matters for this, from the state's perspective, is this right here, is the projection. They, and I think Arthur and I were pretty clear about this last time, we were worried this could come back lower. I about fell off my chair when this came back, because I was very pleasantly surprised. They remember that the state, when they do your reimbursement, takes the highest of, I think it's an 8-year picture, all right? So by the time, if you were to do a project, you would be in this window of the 8-year picture. He's projecting 519 students in 2034. That is 100 students more than where the other one was. To give you a sense of how important that is, that, remember we were talking about square footage and space waivers, this takes that risk of not getting a space waiver away significantly. Because now, this almost brings up 10,000 square feet for you. Remember, you were at like 55,000, I think, that you were eligible for. You're closer now to like 65. And Rusty's, I've asked Rusty to run these numbers for us. With that number, which is why it's so important. So if you're trying to get from 65 to 77, and you say, look, there's no fluff in this, it's the middle school, it's a joint, it's such a smaller window, it just helps tremendously. He's just predicting some growth. And based upon the births, I was pleasantly surprised about it. You can, everything else in here is good information, but from the standpoint of why you really need it, you just want to put a big circle around that 519 students.
And we multiply that times a number, and that's
They figure out how much square foot you're eligible for, that where they say you would get your 100% reimbursement, which 100% of your reimbursement would be like that 93%. Anything above that, you would have to still apply for a space waiver, but instead of applying for a 20,000 square foot space waiver, it's less. So I'm not saying you won't have to apply for one if there's a big project, but this helps you tremendously.
Great.
I didn't intend to go through page by page tonight. I just, it
That's fine.
was really.
That's
big
news.
This is for the
When I read that, I
SBC,
was shocked.
and I just circled that number. I went outside and went, woohoo! And this came in, so that's why. So that'll be online tomorrow.
Perfect. Okay, we need to discuss substitute rates.
Yep, this is the last thing that I had was the minimum wage went up again, or goes up again, January 1, 26. You already did some others. The group that this hits now is our subs. And so I just did the sub ad, it was easier. And so here's my proposal. The one that is impacted here is the para rate. All right, that at this minimum wage is going to go $16.94 times 7, you're like 118 and change. I rounded it up to 120 a day. Okay, I pulled some people around and said, $120 a day, how much difference do we need in the gap for you to want to then be a teacher sub to take over a classroom for a day versus just being a para? They thought a $20 difference was the difference. So I kept the gap with it, 120, 140, 160. The para's day is 7 hours. The teacher day is 7 hours and 20 minutes. The certified retired teachers get paid more because they're certified or retired. Bachelor's is 140 a day. I did not move the nurses' rate. And I am proposing a new rate for custodial help. This is tied to my sub thing, that ad that's out right now. I want to get some subs on the custodial list for us. We don't have any. And this would be 8 hours a day for 138.
what is it now?
We don't have one.
You don't have a rate.
They cover where they can. They go and grab stuff. The math is Arthur, 1725. Okay, that's 1725 an hour.
Your spider that just walked away from you.
That's so.
Holy moly.
Wait.
There was
Here.
another one over here. You go all the way over there?
Yeah.
Is he black and
Yeah.
long? Yeah.
Don't mind us. We have a large spider walking near us. Thank you for warning.
You're welcome.
Arthur, I almost warned you if he had gotten into your thing.
No,
But he didn't, he walked on.
Hey, Bill, can I ask a question?
Yes.
about that?
Absolutely.
Just out of curiosity, why don't we do by the hour instead of by the day?
What are we talking about?
Why do we pay by the day instead of the hour, like an hourly rate instead of by the day?
Well, it's the 8 hours, right?
I get that the math.
Which
all
one are
works
you
out.
asking about? All of them?
Yeah,
Because
they have
it's
to
I mean,
easier,
typically if you're,
because then they have to do a timesheet. And we don't have to do a timesheet. They're just saying they either work half a day. We don't take someone for 2 hours.
okay,
The only time we take someone for 2 hours is if I'm like, please, Tracy, I need someone to do the trash. Please, please, please. I'll give you 2 hours, Phil. Perfect, thank you so much.
okay,
It's usually one of our people and then off they go.
okay.
But yeah, we want people, if someone were gonna do half a shift, they'd get half the money, right? Sometimes people are like, I can give you a half day today. That's the minimum requested or minimum amount we typically take.
So for the custodian piece, that's new. Do you have any idea or any sense as to how much that would get used? Like, do you have any kind of,
Our crew tries to save their vacation days and for summer And also try not to be out, because they know when you only have one person at hall school trying to clean 60,000 square feet, it's not gonna happen. We cover it for a day, it works out. Center school night custodian's out, we don't have anybody to cover, so they come over from hall, there's an impact. I'm trying to allow them to go, like I said before, you're sick, please stay home. That's your right, you have sick days to do that, I don't want you to come to work sick, they're dedicated though. I'd rather see if, we might get the guy we just hired is a Willington guy, he's like, I'm looking for something simple. We may find someone else that's just like that, that says, listen, I'll come in and I'll work, I'll give you 4 hours a night. I'll take 4 hours a night better than nothing, or constantly trying to drive somebody over from hall or from center to hall.
So Paras before were what, 110?
It was 110 or 150.
Bachelors were 1.
I think it was 110.
And then certified retired, I thought was
155 or 150. I kept the $20 difference between all. The one, and this is what I'll say, is where you have flexibility is, you can't change the para one unless you want to change it to the absolute minimum of 118 and change. 1694 times 7, okay? Where you have, why I pulled people is because what's the difference? I'm trying to get people to want to be a teacher sub, and they said $20 a difference was the difference.
I'm just concerned about the bachelors went up 10, but if certified retired only went up 5. I'm just thinking, I gotta find it.
We didn't pull a lot of extra the certified retired teachers we found were actually Willington folks.
Right. Yeah, so the old rates were 150 for certified teacher, 130 for bachelors, and 115 for paras.
I did in 2020.
I almost feel like you should knock the bachelors down $5 because you only went up 5 for the paras. And I almost feel like that's because you went up 20 between the two, but that 20 gap between bachelors and certified retired wasn't there before, it was only 10.
You could do.
Or no, I'm sorry.
I would
50-30 was.
I would recommend if you're going to knock the certified retired down before you knock down bachelors, because the people that I got feedback from said $15 a day difference to go either take over a class or work with a kid in a room is not big enough a difference. An extra $5, I don't know what it was. It's like, are they thinking about a $20 bill? I don't know what it was, but that was where it became a difference for them. So if you wanted to knock, you could even keep the certified retired teachers at 150 if you wanted to. You don't need to.
The only thing is we're competing with neighboring towns.
We are.
And if they're making more in neighboring towns, they're gonna say no when we come.
They're not. They are not. We are one of the highest paying towns. As it stands now, before this, I think we're tied with Mansfield, we're lower than, I believe we're lower than Ashford. Do you remember that?
I don't know off the top of it.
Even the ones that are beating us, because there are some that are beating us, they're not pulling it. It's not making a big difference.
Yeah.
My only concern about the custodian one is how does that come? So with the registered nurse, you're worried about raising that because it gets almost to the point of paying the nurse a job, How does that, what I'm saying is for the custodians with their steps, that's 1725, are you approaching step 1 at least with the custodian?
Yeah, because their step was moved, because I had to.
Right.
Yeah. They're on the bottom of the barrel.
Why are the hourly rates, maybe I'm not interpreting right, why is this lower than like a standard teacher or a standard nurse? Like, why is the pay less? Like, if you look at like Ashford, their paras make $20 an hour. But that math doesn't, why is this less than that? I don't understand.
Budgeting standpoint, they're just covering, they're not planning, they're coming in for a day and just doing, they're basically covering a space.
Okay.
So, and I'm not knocking the nurses that are covering right now at center they're they're not like doing any state reporting for us, they're not,
Right.
they're just
Just a
putting
holding
attendance in and
place until.
putting out fires and then walking out the door.
Now, do we have any issues? I know custodians know finding people for these rates in previous.
That's part of it.
I think across the board, everyone's looking for subs.
Yeah.
But like, in this ad, I just added this today, college student home on break,
Yeah.
come work for us for 6 weeks. We're trying to, and we actually typically do get a couple kids in, that will come in and do things for us. So. Even if they only wanna work 1 day a week.
What if
It used to be like, if you don't wanna work every day, we're not gonna put you on the list now, we do. What are we gonna say? Brianna?
What if you have somebody who's like, I'm willing to do it, call me if you need me, and not like, I will come every Monday, I will come every.
Oh, that's what it is.
Cause I was on a list and it was just a thing, I got a call in the morning, thinking that if I picked up, I could go, and if I didn't pick up, they moved on.
Oh, for the
So-
sub thing, yeah, I know, I think I was thinking about like the custodial situation too, same
Same,
deal.
I would just, if I had a list that just said, or you're a custodian, you wanna take next Friday off for vacation, I'm gonna call you in advance and say, I have a custodian out next Friday, can you work next Friday?
Right.
Some people will say, I'm pre-book only.
Yeah.
Some people will say, don't call me at 5 o'clock in the morning, cause I'm not gonna answer the phone, I don't wanna sub that day unless you pre-book me.
That was me.
Maybe there's a way we can explain that to our citizens a little bit better.
We can do that in our ad. We can
Yeah.
add some. We tried to just keep this simple so it jumped out, let us know whether you wanna work 1 day a week or all 5.
It's a great way to help out, it's a great way to fill a serious need, it's a great way to find out how awesome our schools are. And all the work those people do.
Yeah.
Every single day, so.
So you would just have to approve that because of the rates. If you wanna adjust them, that's fine, you just gotta tell me what you want me to do.
Are you married to the 135 for the custodian, instead of just making it even 140 and 1750?
No. No, I'm not married at all.
I mean, it just makes everything even.
Do you
Is
think
that-
it's insulting that a custodian and a bachelor degree sub are less equivalent?
I don't. Do you?
Not if they're in demand. This is another need-based.
Who would qualify as a custodian?
A lot of people,
Anybody willing to swing them up?
yeah. You have
I'm
to
just curious, like.
pass your
what that difference
fingerprinting and do some independent work,
between- Yeah,
high school diploma typically.
There has to be a crash course in.
We
chemical.
we train them.
Yeah.
Yep, we train them.
I mean, I have a lot of respect for the custodial staff, and I'm just thinking about the comparison of work duties versus, I was a bachelor's degree sub, and it was just kind of making sure the kids didn't hurt each other and make sure to try to get your work done and try to
Follow.
not run over.
no,
it.
I know that custodians
A
work
lot
their butts
easier.
off, I didn't know if somebody who, I don't have a bachelor's degree. So I didn't know if somebody who had a bachelor's degree would be like, oh, I'm getting paid the same as custodian, what the heck?
I think that's.
I don't know if there was that bias, if there was that. I don't
No.
know, I mean,
Maybe,
who
but
knows,
I
I
think
don't
it'd be a
know.
very poor way of looking at it, because they're entirely different.
Okay,
It's
Honestly,
harder
Sam,
work. It's harder
They
work.
look at, I can make $26 an hour down the road at FedEx.
okay,
They compare it to more things like that, where I can start a target at $25 an hour,
okay,
cause some of these places you can.
right,
The people that do this are because they wanna work at a school, they wanna help out, I think that's Brianna's point,
okay.
is they want, and that's typically who we get.
Do you think the difference there, because the certified teachers in other districts that I have substituted in did not separate that out? So the difference between a bachelor's degree and a certified teacher who's being a substitute, there's an
Okay.
acknowledgement of a little bit more training in what they're doing.
Okay, that makes
Probably
sense.
expect a little bit more.
Yeah.
So I'm not married to your 138, no, I just threw the numbers on it.
When
Like I
you
said,
do-
the only numbers I would request, don't bring the nurse number down, and you can't bring the paraeducator down until around 18.
Would it make a huge difference in the budget, that 138 versus 140?
No,
because I think it might be more attractive. It sounds like more, 140
10
sounds
bucks,
like
ten
more
bucks a
than.
week.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that's if they're working every day
Right,
too.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
I mean, that'd be my suggestion. My only reason for the bachelor's degree is because you had a $15 difference between the paraeducator and the bachelor's previously. That was my only point. But if that's,
Yep.
if there's gonna be a breaking point for some people, I don't know. I think 135 a day, I thought 130 a day was good. I think I got paid 120, which I thought was good too. So, I mean, like I said, at 130, I was looking at other towns and we were above a decent amount of towns, or at least tied with a decent amount of towns.
and there is a pretty big difference between para and bachelor's.
Yeah.
Because you need a high school diploma versus a bachelor's degree, and that's pretty significant.
Yeah, I can tell you, Ian, I know paras and I know myself, and I could be a class sub before I could be a para sub. I don't have that skill set.
It's much.
To me, I think it's
I hope
it's
there's
worth.
1,000 paras listening right now.
I mean, it's true though, like, I have the utmost respect for the paras too, because
100%.
I couldn't do it. I don't have the patience. And I know that.
Are the custodians eligible for insurance at a certain number of days, consecutive days, just like other long-term subs are?
These are at will, they're not union contract.
Okay.
Are we voting on this? Because I'd like to maybe figure out.
I just have one last question. What's the difference between a call-in sub and a long-term sub pay? Is there one of you just
Only on teacher.
certified teacher?
Okay.
They get paid more to be a long-term?
If they're over a certain number of days, they legally have over 40 days, you have to.
Okay, and so it can be a bachelor sub, be a long-term sub, and it doesn't.
You could be there, if you have a bachelor's degree, and I bring you in as that sub position, as you are in that position for 40 days, there's steps you have to take to be able to stay in that position.
Do they go on
If you're not
first step
certified.
on the contract at that point? Or?
Nope,
No.
nope, a long-term sub is a BA step 1.
So it is different than 140, or would be different than 140 a day?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. Are we comfortable with those numbers?
I'd like to move custodian up $2.
Please, yes.
Okay.
I would agree with that.
Make it easy there. Just need a motion with that change. Arthur, go for it.
All right, I will make a motion that we accept the proposed substitute rates with the change of custodian pay to $140 per day.
Second. Last discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Great, thank you. Okay. We have curriculum next here on our agenda. Were we talking just specifically about the committee and the committee's work that needs to get done, or?
Same as, put that on. So.
I asked to put it on, and I'll keep it brief just because it's something that I have been thinking about, and then some correspondence that we got from a parent also kind of like happened to come in on that same day. I did talk to Phil on the phone just because there was some questions about that I've been concerned about as far as like the amount of screen time that our kids are using for like the Chromebooks and the one-to-one programs. There's been a lot of articles that I've been reading about the pros and cons of that and screen time for children during those developmental years. I know that software, hardware, Novus takes up a large portion of our budget, and I'm kind of like an old school gal. I think that we have a lot of mandates that kind of like force us to do different things with our curriculum, but I think if we could take some agency and maybe focus on some of the requests that the parents have been having with more consistency with spelling tests and kind of like advocate a little bit more for memory-based learning, I think that we may be lacking a little bit of that. So I just wanted to talk about that. We can table it for another time, but my concern also was is there cursive in the curriculum? I think that that's something that's very important, even for historical documents, for students being able to sign their own name. And we may not use penmanship as much as we used to, but for having access to, like I said, historical documents as a society, I think that that's something that we should be nurturing. And then spelling tests for memorization, anything that focuses on memorization. Obviously, I'm not a curriculum professor, or I don't know that much about it, but we've been getting some concerns with other parents writing in. So I just wanted to talk about that and learn a little bit more about that, but that's kind of like seemingly maybe a larger discussion that maybe we could have a curriculum meeting, subcommittee meeting, and kind of branch off and talk about that instead of taking up time in the whole meeting. But that's why I added for it to be on there, because those were some of the concerns that I've been having, and it seems like some of the parents are concerned about consistency throughout different grade levels. I understand that we have, picture of a student or graduate, what's that called? Yeah, then that correlates to different time restraints and stuff that we have, and I know that, but I think it would be nice to have some things that we can focus on and things that we can try to, have our own importance for us.
Sam, I have a question about the spelling. What were the parent concerns about that being?
But there wasn't any spelling tests.
Yeah,
and
I
yet
can
consistencies
speak
with that.
to that as a grandmother with a third grader.
Okay.
I'm receiving now a list of spelling words every week. There's a test on Friday. It comes out of the CKL, the new reading program.
Yeah. So I believe, oops, sorry.
Yeah, and that's been good. I appreciate that because I can help her study had she not studied at home.
Yeah.
She may not be so successful.
So I believe that it was in third grade, but this particular parent wasn't seeing in fourth grade, so that's what the concern was.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember in third grade, it was every Friday, exactly what you're saying, yeah.
Yeah, so I think, that's a good point to maybe, and I also appreciated, when we had, the Science of Learning. They had a wonderful parent component where I got a list of what they were doing. This is first grade every week, so we could work on that too. So, so I think that's a good suggestion.
Is that something you think a presentation would be helpful, Sam?
Sure.
Because the science of learning, information with the science of reading, with CKLA, which all gets at memorization, the spelling, cursive, and actually there's a ton of research out there with cursive now. And why we pick CKLA as part of it.
Okay.
Could easily be part of a presentation. It doesn't have to be, a 2-hour thing, but it would give you some information about what's in that program and why.
Okay. And I think in first grade it was an optional whether you received that. We talked about it at the conference.
So it's actually not optional with CKLA. Why it's optional right now is trying to roll out a majorly rigorous program, and where you press and where you don't press, where you spend your time, and you're trying to fill in gaps, because CKLA expects when you're in third grade now that you've had K1 and actually pre-K, K1, 2, right? And if they haven't, you have to fill those gaps. So it's like, where do you spend your time on? That's eventually that issue will go away unless it's somebody new moving in, but we can share all that out and information, because there's spelling tests built into the program. I can't speak to whether the spelling tests you're speaking about are part of the program or something that somebody added in. I don't know that.
It's literally a page from the book.
Yeah.
So it is part of the
Okay.
program. Yeah.
And the workbook.
Yeah, the workbook, yeah.
I think part of so I was on the subcommittee for curriculum, we all were, and part of the frustration for me is the third grade was vastly different than fourth grade. And I wish we had the third grade rigor that we have in fourth grade, because we don't have that. And I didn't understand that consistency inconsistency in the presentation that was given to us, because it sounded great when we got presented. It sounded like a great kind of shift from where we were and something that was accessible and something that was, that parents could do at home, like you said, all the stuff was online, but I don't like the inconsistency in between grades. I think that it needs to be all the way through as best as possible. So I would actually like to have another presentation about it and raise some of the concerns that I'm seeing, just as a parent.
Because some of it could be general, and then you could generate questions from that to then bring to the curriculum committee to identify, like, okay, is this a problem, or is it in the program? Is it coming, or have we taken it out because of time? You could figure those things out, right?
There's a lot of reasons why spelling could be looking different for that age group, so it would be good to hear from. Tracy could give us an hour presentation.
Not tonight at this hour.
Ready, set, go.
Spelling patterns and whatnot, so. Okay, so what are we doing? We're gonna,
I'll go
refer those topics to the curriculum committee and then also try to put together
Yeah, let's start with the presentation. Right,
the overall ELA
Yeah.
style.
it doesn't have to put it the front side of the meeting, it doesn't have to be super long.
Yeah.
You can, you can just generate some questions off of it, and then that could be what goes to the curriculum committee.
Take a look at the CK.
Get more information.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Can people access that who don't have, or can non-parents?
Yeah.
Access that information on our website? So
Yeah, it's not on our
I mean, you
website,
can't
but
see-
the majority of the stuff, yes, you can go in and see like scope and sequence and things like that, you can get in there.
not like specific for the class, obviously, but, okay. All right, do we have any old business? I don't understand. Okay, we're gonna move on to agenda item 13, present to speak. If you are online and you would like to share, please raise your virtual hand. Present to speak. Anybody? You're here, but you don't wish to, 3, I'm not gonna ask 3 times. 2, 1, thank you. Okay, thanks for coming. Did anyone want to make a board comment this evening?
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I'm grateful for the opportunity for the 7 of us to continue the work we've been doing for the past 2 years. Again, I think that's a unique opportunity because in the 8 years when I've been on this board, it hasn't been the same 7 people around the table for more than 2 years. And I think we've been doing some really great work with a lot of collaboration. Of course, we have our differences and individually that's what makes it work. So but I do appreciate that we get to do this again, because going into the election, it was, can we just keep the same people for a second? It's working. Why break, why change it? So just want to say that I appreciate that. I'm excited to keep working together.
Do you want to go back, Brian?
Oh,
'Cause you-
hello, Kylie.
So, are you asking to unmute her?
I will reverse order. Thank you, Tracy. We're gonna, is everyone okay with that if we back up?
Sure.
Okay, we are interrupting this.
Oh, she
regular
lost her
scheduled
mic.
meeting.
Kylie lost her mic.
We had a participant online who was raised her hand a bit tardy for present to speak, but we wanted to still give her the opportunity, and now she is yellow handless. So if it comes back,
Yeah.
wave and shout.
Yeah, or she
Okay.
can just email me and I can share.
Okay, we can also double up. Okay, did anybody else?
Oh.
She'll be back.
This is a fun game.
Blend.
There she is.
Yeah, and a mic.
But she has no mic.
She doesn't. have a mic.
Oh, I keep
She had a
getting.
mic.
Maybe it's gone by accident.
Hello?
I'm trying to get, I can't allow her to unmute because
She doesn't have a mic.
she doesn't have a mic.
Oh, good heavens. You have a camera? You can hold up a piece of paper. with the words on it.
Message.
Mime it. Oh, there she is. Hi, pretty girl. Okay, we're gonna play charades.
You have no mic, Kylie. I'm not sure why.
Would
Did
you,
you sign?
John, do her voice.
Lip reader.
Sorry.
Sorry. You
You
got
guys
that
are
one.
awesome. That's what I thought you said. All right, thanks. Sorry, Kylie.
right.
Okay, do we have any other board comment?
I just wanted to say something, so we had a lot of talk last time and possibly the time before about, the role of the board. And I don't want to use that as a way to almost stifle information, because to me, as a board member, I want all the information I can get. Whether or not it's actionable by myself or by us as a whole, honestly, that's not really my concern. My concern is having as much information about the schools, about the students, about the staff, about everything possible, because that's what I feel I need to do my job. And that's what this is, even if it's volunteer, it's a job. To do my job effectively, and again, maybe I can't do anything about it, maybe we can't do anything about it, maybe it's not an actionable item, but having the information is never a bad thing, and I'm always gonna ask the questions even if we can't do anything about it, and that's, to me, that is my role as a board member, is to ask these things and to get this information and to have everything at the ready. And there's been times that that's been lacking, and there's been times when people in the community have come up to me and asked me a question about the school, and I have a child in school that I didn't know was going on. And I don't feel we should be in that position. I feel we should have as much information as possible, and it's not necessarily that we're gonna do anything with it, but having it and knowing it and knowing what's going on, knowing what's happening in the buildings that we're honestly tasked to oversee in the grand scheme of things, because we are. I mean, we're at the top. We don't actually do the nitty gritty, but we're at the top of it. That's our job. That's our role. Maybe it's not our role to do anything about it, but that's our role, is to have that information. So I'm gonna keep asking questions and keep pressing.
Thank you.
Kylie has mic.
Yep.
I just asked her to unmute.
Trying, nope, not yet.
Has to unmute.
Yeah, she has to unmute.
I can ask
You're
her.
gonna ask, but she hasn't actually do it.
Yeah. Can you hit the mute microphone button, Kylie?
Did it work?
Yay!
Thank you guys so much. Sorry about that. I just wanted to speak to, I did hear someone say something about learning through memory and memory-based learning. And I just wanted to say, as a child or a parent of a child with dyslexia, memory-based learning is a terrible, terrible, terrible idea. And I was thrilled when we went away from that idea. Every child learns really, 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 really well if they're taught with phonics and to learn sounds and to figure out words and not just memorize words. It actually impedes their learning later in life. So I thought that was a really, really important thing to point out, and say that the science of reading, if anyone is interested, has tons of research behind this. It's a great thing to look into. Memorized based learning is not something we want to teach our kids. So just wanted to kind of point that out and say that we should look into that more. And I applaud the school for turning away from that. Also, one other note, I had an issue was when we were saying about absence and trying to say make it inconvenient for parents or make it like possibly summer school or hold them back. The thing about that is a lot of the kids that are absent chronically do not want to be. Most of the kids that are chronically absent, it's because they can't get themselves on the bus, or maybe they're having trouble at home and they're younger and they can't get to school on their own. So I think we need to rethink like just our tone and how we're thinking about things. And instead of punishing kids or trying to make it hard for their parents, just maybe think about where the kids are coming from. a lot of the times these kids that really can't get to school, school is probably their safest place, and it's probably the place that they want to be. So thank you for taking the time to let me work out my video, and thank you guys for all you do.
Thank you. The extended school year option is just one of a menu of strategies that I'm sure that our attendance committee uses. So it's not a one size fits all for everybody. I think our district probably does a really great job of looking at things on a case by case basis in that arena. Okay, did anyone else want to hear from that? Right, then we can, oh.
No, I think I do, sorry.
Go ahead.
I just wanna not leave, the comment that Arthur made kind of hanging out there. I would imagine that was connected some, at least, to the attendance conversation that we had today. And, I feel like it's perfectly appropriate for us to ask whatever questions we have. But I think it's also appropriate for it always to be connected back to something that we can be actionable about. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think that's shirking our responsibility as board members. Everyone has a different perspective on how much they communicate with Phil on a regular basis, how much they communicate with other board members singularly on a regular basis. But I think when it comes to these meetings, I feel like we all have the same job. And we are all capable of asking questions, but it's important to me as a board member to know what information we're getting and knowing how we're going to, as a board, use that information. That's my comment.
Thank you. Brilliant. And a couple little things too. I'd like to congratulate the students that received awards at the Success Assembly. That's great. Congratulations to them. I also want to say thank you for the holiday shop. It's such a wonderful opportunity for the kids to go shopping in such a kid-friendly environment. So I want to thank the PTA for providing that opportunity for the kids. And then also congratulations to Carol and welcome to Katie and our new and retiring folks.
Great. If everyone's all set, we can accept a motion for adjournment.
Second.
10:18.
Jen, John.
Last comments, discussion, not needed, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
10:18, thank you everyone.
Good job.